Good evening and a pleasant hello to you from the beautiful Ice in Paradise facility in Goleta. It is rivalry night on All Hallows Eve as the ice hockey at UCSB Gauchos look to exorcise a demon from season last as they take on the Chapman University Panthers. Well, hi everybody, Eric Evelhoch and Kyle Nicolas here with you on the ice hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. And Kyle, what a special night tonight is. Not only are the Gauchos back in town after their longest road trip of the season, but they will be doing so in style with plenty of gold waving around in the stands tonight.
Not only is it rivalry night, it is Rally Towel Rivalry Night here at Ice in Paradise. The first 300 fans in attendance have received a gold and blue UCSB Ice Hockey Rally Towel to attempt to get this team fired up for their opponent here this evening, the Chapman Panthers, who, as you have mentioned, have a bit of history with our Gauchos here. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I know the guys on the ice have been looking forward to this one. There is no love lost. There's a fair amount of bad blood we should be experiencing and seeing some good hockey here this evening.
Both of these teams are coming off a loss. For ice hockey at UCSB, it's been 3 straight defeats at the hands of Pac-8 opposition. 2 games up in Oakland against the University of California 2 weekends ago. And of course, last Friday down in Burbank at the Pickwick Gardens ice rink, falling at the hands of UCLA by a 6-3 final. This Chapman team, Kyle, has been a little bit up and down this season. After opening the year with a couple losses, they've been switching things off. A loss, a win. A loss, a win. They're coming off a loss most recently, though, against California State University Northridge, and there are plenty of familiar faces from last year's California Cup championship game on this squad.
So there is some good experience between these two teams, and this is another reason for the rivalry. UCSB has not beaten Chapman University in the Ice in Paradise era. If you got a chance to see our pump-up video that was on our Facebook over this past week, you know the history between the two. But just a quick summary of it, the first two regular season games these two teams played were both 7-6 victories for the Panthers, one of them coming in overtime on the tail end of a 4-goal comeback by the Gauchos to force overtime. The second one being the game winner, just a complete fluke of a shot off the end boards that bounced over the net, I'm guessing off the stick of a defender and in. To this day, I still can't figure out how it went in. And we were standing on the end almost right next to it. It was just that weird and fluky of a goal. And then, of course, probably the biggest heartbreaker of them all, the California Collegiate Hockey Association championship game last year, going the way of the Chapman Panthers by the score of 5-0. The Chapman Panthers basically just completely shutting Santa Barbara out in terms of not only just on the scoreboard, but making it so difficult to get through the neutral zone due to just locked down solid defense, making it relatively easy on goaltender David Norick. And Chapman walked out the rightful victors on that day, and unfortunately for the Gauchos, it's kind of only fueled a little bit of the rivalry here.
David Norick, the goalie in that game who earned the shutout, is between the pipes again tonight for Chapman University. Familiar faces from that squad last season. Perhaps the biggest villain, the left wing from Laverne, California, Heikki Veraranta. Kyle, of all the players we saw last season, few possess the combination of speed and skill that Veraranta does, bearing out the fact that he's been Chapman's leading scorer the past 2 seasons and once again paces the team in points this year.
Just last year alone in the 3 games against Santa Barbara, Veraranta put up 11 points, 9 of them being goals. So he is well familiar with this Santa Barbara team. He likes seeing them on the calendar. One of those Gaucho killers, I guess you can say, along with a player we will see later on out at California Lutheran, which, we'll deal with him when we come to him. But again, this is a guy that the Gauchos are really going to have to focus on because he's not the only threat that the Gauchos had to deal with last year that's back in the roster here. Defenseman Tyler Kring, listed as a center this year, but played the last half of last season on defense, showing a bit of his versatility, also a major thorn in the Gauchos side. And then the diminutive forwards, Heikki Veraranta and Anthony Zapata, both back in the lineup as well, although the Gauchos will not have to see Veraranta here this evening.
Let me correct you on that, Kyle. It's Ramin Tahiri. The Chapman Panthers, much in the way that UCSB has had to be dealing with the flu bug, with the injury bug, the Panthers not bringing a full squad here to Ice in Paradise tonight, and you can breathe a sigh of relief not seeing Ramin Taheri tied for the team lead this season with 3 assists. He has 6 points through his 5 games played with Chapman. He is out, as is Jimmy Wilkinson, who's got 2 goals and 2 assists in 6 games played. Other players of note out for Chapman: John Campuzano, Cameron Wang, and Matthew Eklevia. But surely, ice hockey at UCSB will shed no tears for a shorthanded Chapman side, considering some of the things that they've had to deal with in recent weeks. The last 2 weekends, the Mooney brothers, Kevin and Kyle, unable to participate due to roller hockey team commitments. Unable to have the services of defenseman Christian Ockfish, suspended for 4 games after a fight in the season opening game against Santa Rosa Junior College off the rink. Those 3 players return for the Gauchos today.
So they are gaining a fair amount of skill back in their roster. Ockfish in particular was a force to be reckoned with in that first game, playing arguably the best game we have seen him play in a Gaucho uniform through these 2 years, but also getting the Mooney brothers back, the scoring force that they can be, their stick handling, their speed, and they're just so difficult for defensemen to latch onto because they're so deceptive in the way they skate and the way they stick handle. The Gauchos getting a fair amount of skill back in their roster, but also will be missing once again a couple players. Yevgeny Slasenko out here this evening, as well as defenseman Eric Valois. So the Gauchos a little short on their back end in this one.
Once again, UCSB will have to function with 5 defensemen, but that's what they've had to do each of the last 3 games that they've played. This time around, you can expect to see Dimitri Piagai paired with Andrew Vieira, and then a rotation between defenseman Christian Ockfish, Jag Lawrence, who draws the assignment back on the blue line today, as well as James Blount. And what is that defense corps going to have to worry about today, Kyle, against head coach Sam Wieproperson's Chapman squad? What do you remember from their attacking style last season?
Speed, speed, and more speed. All of the forwards for Chapman can skate, and their defenseman, particularly number 5 Connor Pierce, who was just an absolute rock through the tournament last year in the playoffs of the NCHA. The speed of this team, particularly in counterattack and in their aggression through the neutral zone, gives teams fits. They are so difficult to play against when they are on their game defensively. They are well coached. They are very cohesive as a team, and particularly the likes of Veyranta and the likes of Zapata here this evening are guys that love to attack, coming over the blue line with a full head of steam in order to catch defenses off guard, put them on their heels, and then turn the corner on them before attacking the top of the goal crease. The Gauchos are really going to have to keep Chapman away from the top of Nora Penn here this evening.
And another player for Chapman, Kyle, that I'm looking forward to seeing tonight playing in his first season with the Panthers is center Easton Miller, who through 6 games played is tied with Veyranta with 7 points, 4 goals and 3 assists. He's currently on a 4-game point scoring streak, a goal, assist, a goal, and a goal in his last 4 games. But UCSB has seen some solid offensive performance in recent games, most notably the performance of 2 returning Gauchos in Mitchell Pauliuso and Justin Goldser.
That line has been a rock-solid, consistent performer for the Gauchos in just about every game this season. The experience from last year and the chemistry that they had from spending most of last season playing together has shown in abundance here this season as well. So having that as a depth line that the Gauchos can go to when they need a spark, when they need a momentum shift in order to really kind of get themselves going and get their heads back in the game. Coach has been able to turn to that one and really rely on them in order to get that job done.
One of the players who's cooled down a little bit after an absolutely blistering open is still team-leading goal scorer in Cooper Spears. Kyle, what were some of the things that you noticed about his game on the away trips to Oakland, to Burbank, and how do you think he can get back into how we saw him that opening weekend here at Ice in Paradise, where he was absolutely fabulous, scoring 4 goals in his first game as a Gaucho, and then adding another 5 goals in his first weekend?
Well, the Gauchos need to find a way to get the puck to him out in open ice. That's where he does most of his damage. Spears is usually out hovering somewhere around the top of the zone, kind of looking for that pass so that he can leave and exit with speed and stick handle his way through the neutral zone. He is another one of those players that's very difficult to get body contact on, despite the fact that we see him take a lot of hits down low in the offensive zone, but most of those hits come as a result of defenses just having to catch up to him at the last second in order to maybe barely get a body on him. and prevent him from shooting. He is a deceptive skater. He's a good stick handler, but the Gauchos need to work on getting him the puck in an area of the ice where he can really put those skills to work. If they're trying to get him the puck and he's covered by 1 or 2 defenders, it's a lot harder to get that puck out into that space where you can then work later in order to really open up those scoring chances.
Expect to see him on the ice, at least initially, with Tyler Barone as his center and Greg Hyman on a wing opposite him. Well, we're inside a minute to go in warm-ups. Kyle, time now to get your keys of the game, sponsored by Matrix Nightclub, the sponsor of today's Rally Towel giveaway. Visit them at 409 State Street or on the web at www.m8rxsb.com. Your Matrix Nightclub keys for the game.
Keys for the game for this one, as I mentioned, keep Chapman away from the front of Nora Penn. They've got to keep that front of their crease, the low slot, protected, because Chapman loves to send wave after wave of forwards in there, crashing and digging away for rebounds. Nora can swallow up a fair amount of those rebounds as well, but as a goaltender, you're always going to let something out, and it's up to the defense to be able to accommodate and cover for her in those situations. Another key to this game for the Gauchos is going to be easily the first 10 minutes. We've said this since the first game of the season. The Gauchos are a strong starting team. They're going to need to keep that up in order to establish a strong foothold in this game. They play better when they get out in front early and can dictate the pace of this game. So, assuming they can go ahead and do exactly what it is that they've done through most of the season so far, I'm expecting another very strong start from them. But they need to be able to pot a goal or two here early in order to really get themselves comfortable in skating here.
And I would say key number 3, if I can hop in on this, Kyle, would be contain Heikki Veeranta. If it comes to it, make the rest of the team have to beat you. But this is much in the way that teams would have to deal with superstar players in the 80s. Send a shadow if you must. Number 17 in maroon and black. Certainly the player to watch for Chapman. We will see how UCSB and their 5-man defense corps, as well as Nora Penn, who gets the start tonight. It'll be her 5th start of the season for ice hockey at UCSB. She looks to be the goalie from here on out, as backup goalie Brian Scullion suffered an injury in the first period of the game against UCLA. Almost time for puck drop, but first we pause for the national anthem. This is Ice Hockey at UCSB on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Rivalry night in Goleta at Ice in Paradise as the ice hockey at UCSB Gauchos get ready to take on the Chapman University Panthers. Myself, Eric Evelhoch, my color commentator, Kyle Nicolas, could not be happier to be bringing this to you on Halloween weekend on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. And we remind you to get social with your Gauchos. Follow on Facebook, facebook.com/icehockeyucsb. We're on Twitter at UCSB Ice Hockey, Instagram as well, UCSB Ice Hockey. Apologize to those of you who normally listen on MixLR. The audio-only feed is down for tonight, but for all future road contests, and there are just 3 of them remaining on the slate, follow at mixlr.com/icehockeyusb. UCSB. Starting lines for both teams, the Gauchos will send out Mitchell Paliuso with Jesper Damgaard and Justin Goltzer on his wings, Pregame and Vieira, the defensemen, in front of goaltender Nora Penn. Well, Chapman will send out a line centered by Easton Miller with Noah Barrett and Anthony Zapata on the wings, Jonathan Chandler and Connor Pierce, the defensemen, in front of goalie David Norick. The puck is dropped and we are underway in game number 3 at Ice in Paradise in the 2016-17 season. Penn tees it up behind the net. There's that quick forecheck from Chapman that we spoke of in the pregame. Vieira will play it along the near side boards. Goltzer switching pass for Damgaard, and he dumps it in far corner. Norick settles it behind the net. Paliuso gets there first, has Chandler on his back, knocked it free for a moment for Goltzer. Along the near side boards, Damgaard gets away from the double team for Vieira. Slapper through Tafik, deflected wide, curled behind the net by Miller. Play to the far boards for Zapata. Gauchos laying the body early, but Chapman doing well to move it out as backhand up the near boards, intercepted by Vieira. Second try to get it out. Once again, Vieira holds. Damgaard near boards, throws it to the front, blocked in front by Chandler. Plays it forward, it gets to the line, and again, Vieira holds. Vieira undresses Barrett. Pass across, can't get it through. Nice block in front by Pierce, and Zapata will play it out to neutral ice. Chip back in for the change by Mitchell Paliuso, and both sides will go for a line change. First minute 15 played in the game. Along the far side boards, Eric Kumaro. Sent it back behind the net. Chase Gibbon, puck won by Hyman. Hyman back to the line on the backhand. Jag Lawrence can't hold it in. Blount forechecking pressure coming from Burt Daly. Spears kicked it out to neutral ice. Stepping up, Jason Gomez played it back. Here's Veiranta, who's playing, it looks a defense role in the early going here for Chapman.
Playing it alongside Tyler Kring as well. Look out for that D pair.
Veiranta loses the puck at the blue line to Hyman, but takes the turnover near neutral ice. Teams still feeling each other out as Blount pass off the bench, unable to be handled by Van Duzer. The shot from the top of the far circle, gobbled up by Penn as Kring tries her with a wrister from distance.
And a good early easy save for Penn to get her first contact of the puck here in this game. That's one as a goaltender you really like to kind of just get yourself settled in and start tracking that puck here a little early, not to mention also as well, that being a Tyler Kring shot. I'm sure she would appreciate it if all of his shots here this evening came from roughly about that distance without screen, because he can really let it fly when he cracks it. That rough road trip knocked save percentage for Nora below 80%, currently at 79.5%. Gauchos stretch forward for the chance along the far side boards. Kevin Mooney had it taken away by Veiranta. Veiranta, one of 2 captains on this team. Tyler Kring is the other. Skates through a hip check delivered by Herlihy. And the Gauchos possess in their own end. Pregame wings it forward for Kyle Mooney. Too high forecheck from Chapman with a third lurking. The pass across the slot, intercepted by Zapata. Shot blocked in front, might have hit his own man Miller with friendly fire. Miller behind the net. Sends back to the near point for Pierce. Shot through traffic, pad save Penn, rebound. He's sent out by Mooney, and he springs Kevin ahead, but he won't beat Connor Pierce back for the puck. Pins him to the boards. Miller there to help. Barrett tried the return feed, and it's taken away by Kevin, sent back to the point for Blount. Whiffs on the shot, but gets it back. Trying to backhand her to the slot. It's intercepted by Miller. And Easton will send it forward for Barrett. Too far for him, and back for an icing. No score, 16:22 to go first period. And the Gauchos look like they're trying to establish themselves pretty well. They're doing pretty well in the offensive zone. As for the defensive zone, they can work a little bit on being a little bit more careful with that puck, particularly down below their goal line. Chapman is very obviously pressuring very high. We saw that again last season from them. That is the way they are coached. So they will be looking for the turnovers deep in the Gaucho end. UCSB creates one off the draw, but unable to follow up on it as Miller sends it for Zapata along the far boards. Blount up on him.
but Miller able to skate it out, and Miller with a head of steam, perhaps a chance for a 1-on-2 shot. Pad save, Penn, rebound still sitting there. She makes a great save on the rebound, and the official blows the play dead. Nora with 2 tremendous stops on the break-in by Chapman.
And that rebound save perhaps even better than the first save, Penn being down on her wallet, but having the presence of mind to once again kick that leg out and keep the bottom of the net sealed off in order to prevent that rebound from being sent through right underneath her. Good, solid technique for a goaltender.
Kring on the draw for Chapman. It's won, though, by Barone. And he'll wheel behind his own net. Finds the man forward. That's Goltzer. Shot save made by Norick. He looked behind himself. Wasn't so sure he had it, but he did.
He didn't think he had that one, but boy, that was a great shot from Goltzer as well. That one, I mean, from my point of view, standing pretty much parallel with the goal line right here, that one might have been posted in.
Chapman wins the defensive zone draw, but heavy hit leveled by Goltzer. Kring took the puck away from him. Pierce fights through the Goltzer check. Justin back in his face once more. And Kring will dig it free ahead for Burke Daly. Sends it far boards for Eric Kumaro. Can't control. Lawrence skates away. Quick forward change for UCSB. As it's chipped back into the Panther end, where defenseman Evan Anderson will switch for Pierce. Couldn't come up with it. Van Duzer very nearly the steal. Back to the line, slapper from there, easily blockered away by Norick. Kumaro, forechecking pressure from Spears, deflected it to the high slot. Pierce with pressure from Van Duzer. Gets help from Daly. Daly with Hyman on his hip pocket. Pirouettes free from him. Now the Gauchos giving Chapman a bit of a taste of their own medicine with a forecheck. Sprayed ahead for Kring, who just lets this one go as the linesman had waved off icing. It enables a change of the forward pair for the Panthers. Hand pass. And so we'll have a draw in neutral territory with 14:27 to go here in the first period. Still looking for our first goal on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network.
And we've said all season long that the Gauchos tend to play their best hockey. They tend to be the most engaged when their forecheck is on, and so far here, looks good early.
Vearanta sends forward for Zapanta. Gets past Okpish, curls around the net, tried to throw it to the slot, blocked by Vieira. Kyle sent it behind the net. Now it's touched forward for Kevin. Kevin with some ice to work with. Vearanta on his back. Pass across, shot, score! Poliuso puts the Gauchos in front. The late arriving top point scorer for the Gauchos there to put it home. And it's 1-0.
And there's some gold flying around up here in the stands. Good to see from the fans. They are into it. And a beautiful bang-bang play from the Gauchos. Poliuso just doing what coaches tell you to do. A simple play. Go to the high slot on the far post. The defense loses track of him. Beautiful pass, and boy, he's probably not going to score an easier one. He had a 4x6 to shoot at. Great play from the Gauchos, and they established themselves early, 1-0.
Poliuso with his 4th of the season, assisted by Mooney to make it 1-0 to the Gauchos, and the same lines out there looking for more. Poliuso behind the net for Kevin. Kevin fakes the give for Kyle, will keep it himself, back to the line, through Blount, and this one will go all the way back into the Gaucho end. Zapanta giving chase. Blount chips it away from him, but he held in at the point by Miller. Does it once again. Pass, chip play by Zapanta. Penn makes a great blocker save, thrown in front, and the Gauchos able to clear it free.
Good aggressive goaltending from Penn there to recognize that that was the play. The tip coming in from Zapanta, and yet she just came right out to the top of her crease, gave him nothing to tip it past her. Good solid stop from a positional goaltender.
Burke Daly making a real pest of himself behind the net and wins the puck on the forecheck for Chapman for a moment. Sent it along the near boards. Slammed to the line, but held in by Vearanta. Knuckleballer to the slot, chipped across, shot, save made by Nora Penn. Denied Kumaro there. Boy, she has been on her game in the early going here for the Gauchos.
That's 2 10-bell high-quality saves so far in the early going.
Mooney ragging back in his own end. Kyle takes on the step up from Barrett and gets by him. Can't get past Chandler, as Chandler with a big hit, gonna take a penalty here as he bashes Colsio into the near boards.
And he did so just a little bit too early. Colsio going for the puck, but Chandler not giving him an opportunity to play it before the body contact. So the referee right next to it in perfect spot to make that call, and the Gauchos get a good opportunity here to really put the screws to Chapman in the first period and up that pressure. Obviously a 2-goal definitely not being a safe lead, I guess you can say, but big opportunity here for the Gauchos, and they get a high-quality, high-scoring line over the board.
Their power play is up to 20% on the season, but off the draw, Kring will skate it away, and perhaps a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Fakes the shot, tries a pass across. Great job on the cover defensively, and the Gauchos are away.
Dimitri Piegai with that defensive play.
Held up by Goldser along the far boards. Whiff on the attempted clear. It comes down for Spears. Spears shot save made Norick. Zapanta has it taken away by Goldser in the corner. Goldser, 3 power play goals this season for him. Look for him to make himself comfortable in front of Norick when the Gauchos get set up in the offensive zone. He'll carry in from the near point. Feeds for Spears. Wanted to pull the trigger, lost it at the last moment. Damgard. Shot off the boot of Spears in front.
Not a bad idea. Spears was blocking out the sun. Norick had no idea.
Zapanta couldn't clear as Piegai held, but now Spears wants to do it himself. Spears behind the net. Gives up for the late arriving Mooney. Mooney, shot, save made Norick. Rebound still sitting there. Damgard taken down. Another penalty coming to Chapman.
Gauchos going to get a 2-man advantage here unless they can capitalize quickly.
Damgard. Kyle Mooney along the near side boards, touched up by Burke Daly, and so 37 seconds of 5-on-3 coming for ice hockey at UCSB with 10:58 to go in the first period.
And this penalty is created by the skating ability of Cooper Spears, who just made a nice quick cut down low on the power play, and it caused just a stick right into the skates, really. Just a can opener tripping penalty, and the Gauchos have a big opportunity here now to really put a lot of offensive pressure, 5-on-3 advantage.
Mooney's out there with Mitch Poliuso. Win the draw. Back to the line. Shot high. Rebound will be cleared to the line by Kring, and it flutters through Christian Ockpish. Remember, Ockpish 8 goals last season, tied for the team lead in scoring for the Gauchos as a forward. Now works as a defenseman this season.
But boy, does he have a slapper, I'll tell you that.
Takes it in, shot pad save made by Norick, and he makes the juggling grab to hold with 13 seconds remaining in the 5-on-3.
I think he may have been looking for Kyle Mooney on that play, who was stationed wide open on the far post, about 10 feet off of it as well, looking to maybe just send it across Norick, but Norick got the glove up and took it out of midair.
Once again, the Gauchos win the draw. Back to the line, Ockpish gives up for Poliuso. Poliuso has it again. Shot pad saved by Norick. Poliuso has the 1 goal of the game for the Gauchos. Back to 5-on-4 now for another minute 15. Poliuso curling with it. Chapman in their box. Pass across. Save made by Norick, and he makes another one on Kyle Mooney. Ockpish holds the point. Vejaranta steps up, able to get it to the line, but not out. Great support. Mooney shoots. Blocker save made by Norick.
And he did not bite the fake pass one bit. Good goaltending.
Ockpish gives up for Kyle. Kyle for Ockpish through traffic. Shot hits the stick in front, and it'll be cleared by Chapman Tyler Kring. Able to get the clear. Some banging along the boards for Coach Wee Properson's side as they have 35 seconds remaining to kill on the second Gaucho power play of the game.
And the Gauchos may be guilty of not quite getting enough shots on goal here through this advantage. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a momentum swing back the other way for Chapman, like a good penalty kill like this can usually provide for a team.
Two tremendous saves, though, just pulling the puck off the line by Norick on it, though.
Well, they do say your goaltender needs to be your best penalty killer. Norick has definitely been that so far.
Gauchos trouble gaining the zone here. Barone sets up along the near side boards. Cross, the shot, bar down! No, the official is going to wave it off. Barone's shot was hit in by a high stick, rules the official who was along the goal line in the near side corner, immediately washing this one out.
And I think this is the correct call, too, from where we were standing. That was definitely a tip off of a stick that was above the crossbar, which that is the height, I guess you could say the height requirement for goals. If it's just going to be played back into play, it's shoulder level, but on goals it must be below the height of the crossbar. And that was pretty clearly above it by at least a good 6 inches. So good call from the referee, good officiating.
So the Gauchos go over on their 2 power play attempts. Back to 5-a-side skating. Lawrence played ahead. Nice move by Colcio. Dances free, tried to play it to the slot, gets it back. Swung it around behind the net. Jason Gomez had it taken away. Played to the slot, the shot. Barone couldn't get all on it. Colcio engages with Barrett and wins the puck back for the Gauchos. Barone skates towards the slot. Fights through the sea of maroon sticks. Puck switch to the near corner. Vejaranta gathers for Chapman and will head out neutral ice himself. Vejaranta, dogged from behind by Barone, throws it back in front. Penn makes the save, sent to the line. And a hit from the Gaucho coming off the bench. Knocks the player to his knees. Shot, save made, Penn, rebound. She stops Zapata as well. Outlet pass too far for Barone, but Chapman can't do much with it as the puck comes for Pauliuso. Tries to walk around Miller. Back to the line, shot, saved by Norick, and an easy handle on the seeing eye wrister from Lawrence with 7:38 to go in the first period.
And a few pleasantries after the whistle from Mitchell Pauliuso on Heikki Vejaranta as well. Pauliuso picking out the big target here to go after. Obviously, if you are a Gaucho fan, you are no stranger to his style of trying not only on the ice, but maybe with the mouth afterward of trying to get under his opponent's skin, and he's very effective at it.
Pauliuso can't get the pass across. Nice stick from Evan Anderson defensively for Chapman. Kumaro had it stubbed away by Spears for Pauliuso. Shoots high and wide to the blocker's side. Along the near side boards, Chapman able to get it as far as neutral territory before Ockfish sent it back in for Pierce. Intercepted by Spears. Spears drops back. Pauliuso tried to feather it. Goes off the outside of the cage. Hyman shielded away, but Spears there to pick it up for him. Spears, shot short side. He scores! Beats Norick short side of the blocker. And Cooper notches his 6th goal on the Ice in Paradise sheet this season, and his 7th of the year. 2-0 Gauchos.
And I don't think anyone in the building really recognized that that one was actually in the net, including the Gauchos and Cooper Spears, until they realized that the referee was pointing at the net. It just kind of squeaked short side underneath the blocker in the right hand of David Norick. A quick, deceptive shot, and this is all about release speed as well from Spears. Just getting that shot off quickly before Norick has the chance to react and drop down into that butterfly, and he squeaks it through to get the Gauchos up by 2.
It's a big goal for Spears, big goal for the Gauchos. Now 6:45 to go in the first period. Pauliuso and Hyman should draw the assist, at least they will on my score sheet for that. As Kumaro sends it into the near side corner, will be picked up by Damgar. Pass ahead, too far, icing on the way here.
And I was just going to give the Gauchos a lot of compliments on that play for being good and patient on that breakout. dropping the puck back and keeping it in safe areas of the ice in their own defensive zone in order to really maximize their chances of a successful zone exit. But then the pass missed its target and went all the way down for icing, unfortunately. But good calm and good demeanor shown from the Gauchos on that play.
The officials not allowing Hunter Van Duzer onto the ice sheet. Tyler Barone will have to take this defensive zone draw against Easton Miller. Gauchos have been very good about getting out to leads here at Ice in Paradise.
3 for 3, not too bad.
Yes, indeed. The classic Gaucho start, if you will, is Evelhoch. Norick goes down a bit easy, trying to draw a call there as you bumped in front by Calcio. Miller stepped up on by Calcio, but Chapman able to get it out on the blind backhand up the near boards by Barrett. Ockpish settles, gives for Calcio. Man falls down. Calcio pass across, sticked away at the last second by Norick. The late trailer Evelhoch. Miller up the near wing. Slapper off of Piagai to the far side boards. Check down where Vieira will intercept for UCSB. Played to the line, held in by the defenseman. Now Van Duzer carries forward. Van Duzer throws it in front. Chandler settled it, able to send it out, and sends it the entire length of the ice for the icing.
And Chandler played that one just a little bit too, shall I say, a little bit too lackadaisically for being right in front of his own goal crease with two white shirts bearing down on him. So that's what forced the icing there. But again, good pressure from the Gauchos in their offensive zone is creating opportunities for them, such as this one right here with the offensive zone faceoff.
And we remind you to check out Center Ice Santa Barbara. It's a brand new hockey and figure skating retail showroom in Santa Barbara, located in Goleta at 7127 Hollister Avenue, Suite 8. Visit them on the web at centericesb.com. Area pass comes for Kevin Mooney, who sends it forward for Kyle. Kyle in front. Poliuso, save made Norick, rebound. Second try. Norick makes another save, and he'll hold. And Norick may have felt another jab from Poliuso there.
He should
have.
Grabs
his stick and flings it to the top of the slot.
Poliuso took a couple extra ones there right before the whistle went. So the coaches do tell you, play until you hear the whistle. Poliuso definitely not afraid to go ahead and do that one as well. And we've mentioned already this game his tendency to want to get under opponent's skin, doing so for the goaltender.
And Norick is certainly familiar to this Gaucho team, not only for being the goalie for Chapman last season, but also he played junior hockey with the Channel Islands Riptide. Jag Lawrence, of course, a captain for that Channel Islands squad. Puck thrown in front. Chapman with pressure. Shot blocked. Second try. Once again, doesn't get through. And the Gauchos able to clear out to center ice. And here's a 2-on-1 for the Moonies. Can't get the pass free.
Good play from Jason Gomez to stay in the passing lane there for Chapman.
Barone back to the line. Lawrence shot. Stopped in front by Kring, and he'll take it out to neutral territory himself. Drop pass, spun by Daly, trying to get free from Barone. Shot, pad save by Penn, rebound cleared to the boards. Barone reverses it around with under 4 to go here in the first period. Only goals in the game by the Gauchos, there are 2. Lawrence, a laser-guided missile for Kevin Mooney, who streaks ahead. Shot! Misses wide of the far post, held in by Hyman. He takes a shot, save made by Norick. Rebound popped out. They got the glove on it to hold for the draw. Late swipe again, this time by Kevin Mooney. Vearanta let him know he didn't like that, just as Norick sure as heck didn't.
And the Gauchos keep going for it because they know it is getting a rise out of David Norick, doing everything they can on the mental side of the game to try to get him out of his element right there. That one coming just as the whistle was blown, so not enough to really warrant a penalty, but one of those little things that's really going to get your goaltender hot under the collar.
Easton Miller, a nice defensive zone draw win for Chapman. sent high off the glass, and this one will roll in on Penn. No icing, and with Vejaranta on the forecheck, Nora just decides, let's reset this in our own end.
Yeah, better to not take that risk and take the face-off, which the Gauchos, I would argue this has been their most improved aspect of this game so far, playing spectacular in the face-off dots. I think they've won, I would say probably, if I was just estimating, roughly 80% of the draws here so far.
Off the draw, shot, score! The face-off win by Easton Miller. He gets it back from Tyler Kring and rips it home glove side to cut the Gaucho lead in half.
Perfect shot as well from Easton Miller. Just gets that puck rack right on the face-off dot. I don't even think he moved. He just turned around and fired it, and that was literally the corner of the net. That was threading a needle with that shot. Not a thing Nora Penn could do for that one. They say if as a goaltender, if you can't cover everything, make him take a perfect shot. Well, that was a perfect shot from Easton Miller.
Fifth goal of the season for Miller moves him into a tie with Vejaranta for the team lead. He now has 8 points. That's the most on Chapman. And he has the puck behind his own net, looking to build speed. Taken down from behind by Damgard, and that'll draw a penalty. So after getting the goal to get themselves back in the game, Chapman goes to the power play as Jesper Damgard will sit for tripping with 2:56 to go here in the first period.
And this is unfortunate for the Gauchos because they have outplayed Chapman for the majority of this period, now just under 3 minutes remaining. And with that goal, suddenly the momentum changes just a little bit, and now Chapman with the opportunity to tie this game up here late, which would be a huge swing in the course of this game. Chapman throwing their big bodies, their big scorers out there, Easton Miller and Heikki Vejaranta, plus Tyler Kring on the other point. Difficult penalty kill for the Gauchos.
Off the draw, Kring shot, glove save by Penn, and she holds.
Beautiful technique on that glove save as well. Kring, as we have seen, along with Vejaranta last season, can really wire it when he winds up and lets it go. Penn gets the glove in the perfect spot, and a nice, calm, collected glove save.
Another face-off win. Looping shot off the top of the cage. Rebound tracked down by Chapman to the line for Kring. Kring, pass across, Vejaranta scores! And we're tied just like that.
And this is how dangerous Chapman can be when they get their talent over the line and over the boards. The Gauchos fail to win a couple face-offs. The first one winds up a glove save. The second one, the Gauchos unable to clear that rebound away, and Chapman able to once again establish, and it's their top two players connecting. Kring with the long high to low cross ice pass, something that will give coaches fits if that makes it through while killing a penalty. So the Gauchos penalty killer's probably going to get an earful about that in the locker room. But going from Kring to Vejaranta, not a setup you want to see for UCSB.
Vejaranta from Kring and Daly ties our score at 2. But a chance off the draw for the Gauchos. Calcio shot, pad save, rebound, still sitting there, uncovered. And finally is as Calcio is shoved into Norick by Connor Pierce. And play halted.
And number 5 hitting number 5 into his own goaltender there.
5-on-5 violence. You never like to see that.
Well, you see a fair amount of it when you're watching, normal, regular hockey.
Let alone a rivalry game such as this.
Especially a rivalry like this.
Defensive zone draw won by Chapman, but Gomez having trouble behind his own net. Calcio and Evelhoch combine to almost win the puck, but Daly able to get it free. Zapanta off the boards, area pass and out. Jag Lawrence gives chase with Evan Anderson on his back. Spins free in his own end. First 2 goals of the game for the Gauchos. Poliuso and Spears. But it's been the big guns for Chapman, Miller and Vejaranta that have equalized. Calcio looking for help, and finally will get it. The release valve with Lawrence. Jag will carry in up the near wing and spin and chase after his own dumping. Lawrence. Drop pass taken away by Zapanta. And he sends it out near boards. Kyle back. Switch feed tipped by Miller. Kevin intercepts. Kyle couldn't control it. Jason Gomez. Knocked down at the line by Van Duzer as the puck goes into the Chapman end. Cleared to the line, held in Ockpish. Pitchforks it to Kevin. Across the slot for Kyle. Kyle back to the line. Ockpish, shot, pad save, juicy rebound. Won by Van Duzer. Passes back door. Return feed. Mooney curls around the net. Still waiting. Back to the line for Pregame. Wrist shot. Chipped wide of the net by Van Duzer. Thrown in front. Mooney's shot stopped by the stick of the defenseman Gomez.
Just fanned on it a little bit at the last second.
Pregame with 30 seconds to go in the period. For Kyle. Shot. Hits a defenseman. Rebound. Big save by Norick. Kevin. Curling with the puck now for Ockpish. Shot through traffic. He scores! You could feel it building. Kyle, and Christian Ockpish, in his first game off a suspension, has his first goal of the season.
And the Gauchos get their just rewards at the end of an incredible shift from this line. Just constant puck moving. Great shots. Unbelievable goaltending from David Norick to keep it out for as long as he did, but in the end, it's a long shot through traffic that finally finds its way past him, and the Gauchos get the lead back deservedly with 20 seconds remaining here in the first period.
UCSB back on the front foot, and Cooper Spears looking for more. Miller, though, will play it ahead. Kumaril for Vearanta. Vearanta shoots and scores! Just 11 seconds for a response. Tied again.
This is what we meant early on by the Gauchos' keys to the game. Contain Heikki Vearanta, and you can see the skill with which he plays this game. He was barely over the blue line when he let that shot go, and he wired that one no more than 4 inches under the crossbar over the shoulder of Penn. Another beautiful shot from a supremely talented player, and he's got his goal lead back, I believe, right?
Yes, he does. Heikki Vearanta now with 7 goals this season, 11 goals in 4 meetings with the Gauchos. End to end we go, but we come to the end of the first period, tied at 3 at Ice in Paradise. UCSB and Chapman University. Kyle, Nicolas, everything you could ask for, everything we've billed it as through the first 20 minutes.
And again, the rivalry still definitely very much alive between these teams. A great first 20 minutes, I would say, from the Gauchos, and I think they're a bit unlucky, really, to not be leading this game. But again, this goes back to the supreme skill of the top guys for this Chapman Panthers team and how they are so difficult to contain and shut down, particularly Heikki Vearanta, who just has so much power and so much accuracy in that shot. That was a wrist shot as well that went about as fast as most of the guys in this league can shoot as a slapper. A very difficult task to contain him here, and the Gauchos are definitely going to work on that a little bit here in the second period in order to slow him down and hopefully maintain some of these leads as well.
Vearanta, a law student at Chapman. He has been the judge, jury, and executed 2 excellent shots so far in that first period for Chapman University to set us where we stand, tied at 3 at the end of the first period, as we once again would like to thank Matrix Nightclub for sponsoring today's Rally Towel giveaway at Ice in Paradise in Goleta. Matrix Nightclub is located at 409 State Street in Santa Barbara, and on the web at www.m8rxsb.com. Well, Kyle, considering how the games between these two teams have gone, the 3 times we saw them last year, this being the first time this year, this seems to be a fitting 4th meeting between these two sides in the Ice in Paradise era. You know, so often it's made that sequels aren't as good as the original, let alone if it goes to a quadrilogy. But the hockey has been fantastic here. Seemed like both teams needed to get a sense of each other in the early goings. First 10 minutes or so, not a whole lot going aside from the great goal by Pauliuso coming off the bench. But once the teams figured each other out and really started going at each other, The action was fast and furious.
And it almost seems as though there really was never an off season between these two. There's some different players, some different characters in this play, but it doesn't feel like the action's any different from the last time around. Wild, crazy scoring, lots of talent. The Gauchos, I would argue, are definitely playing much better than I think they ever did last season against Chapman. They're controlling the game much better. I actually thought that was a very good period for UCSB. The vast majority of it, except for that one stretch where they gave up that goal to Easton Miller, and then the penalty that wound up being the first goal for Heikki Veeranta on that pass that really should never have been able to make it through the penalty killing box. But for the Gauchos, I felt like they controlled the vast majority of that period, and you really can't ask for a lot more as a coach. So Coach Scott Hires is going to be back in that locker room going, you know, it kind of stinks that we're not winning right now. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the way hockey can go. You know, being a bit of a fickle mistress, sometimes things don't work out the way you think they're going to. But for UCSB, there's not a whole lot really to change other than maybe don't give Heikki Veeranta so much time. But even that's easier said than done.
We've been making much mention of the goals in this game, so let's take a look at the scoring summary, brought to you by student advisor Susan Goodale. She's the woman you want to get in contact if you want to help support this Ice Hockey at UCSB student organization. Be it a donation, be it a gift, she can help you figure out the best way that your contribution can help support these young men and women here for the Gauchos Ice Hockey at UCSB program. Get in contact with her by sending an email to susan.goodale@ucsb.edu. Goodale, spelled like a nice beer, as well as giving her a call at 805-893-3530, 893-3530. Well, the Gauchos, for the third time this season here on the Ice in Paradise sheet, opened the scoring at the 6:01 mark as Mitchell Poliuso fired home his fourth goal of the season, assisted by Kevin Mooney. It was a great pick, finding him coming into the play late with both the defensemen, for Chapman paying attention to Mooney at the near side post. Poliuso made no mistake about it, bearing it to give the Gauchos the 1-0 lead. Chapman would take two penalties to give Ice Hockey at UCSB 30-some seconds of 5-on-3 time. It looked like the Gauchos might have had a power play goal on that stretch, as James Blount's shot from the point went bar and in, but the official was immediate in waving it off for a high stick. It was deflected by the player in front, either Van Duzer or Barone. Don't remember who specifically it was, but the emphatic washout made sure that the score stayed at 1-0.
And it was a good call as well, standing obviously right on the goal line next to where that was. It was pretty obvious, at least from my angle, that that was 100% a high stick. So good call from the referee, who was in the perfect spot to make it.
The Gauchos, however, would get their second goal of the game at the 13:02 mark, as Cooper Spears, on a bit of a weird goal in the sense that nobody on the ice really even knew that it was in. A nice bit of work on the play as Poliuso worked it behind the net for Greg Hyman, and Hyman chipped it off for Spears, and his shot beat Norick short side to the blocker, much in the way that Patrick Kane scored his 2010 Stanley Cup winning goal, which in the sense that, well, nobody on the ice, well, in that case, except for Kane himself, realized that the puck was in the net and passed Michael Layton. But the Gauchos surely take it as Spears fired home his team-leading 7th goal of the season to give the Gauchos, at the time, the 2-0 lead.
And you mentioned Spears as one of the impact players who needed to step up and have a good performance here this evening for the Gauchos. Scoring a goal in the first period is a good way to kick off the game. Spears, when he gets in the game early, as we have seen, is no stranger to multi-goal performances here. And I'm willing to bet that the immediate goal to retie the game, or well, I would say that wasn't the immediate goal to retie the game after at that point, but the Chapman ability to pull back quickly is definitely going to motivate him to keep going this game.
The response may not have been immediate, Kyle, but it did come in relatively short order at the 16:47 mark, as Easton Miller scored what at the time moved him into a tie for the Chapman lead in goal scoring, his 5th of the year, assisted by Tyler Kring. It was a play where a defensive zone faceoff win by Miller went back to the line for Kring. He was quick to return it to him, and just a heavy shot that beat Penn bar down.
Tyler Kring, Heikki Veeranta, both of them we have mentioned are incredible shooters, as well as Easton Miller, who just ripped that one up. Perfect shot right inside the elbow of the net. Very difficult to stop for any goaltender at that point. And as I mentioned back when it happened, they say goaltenders basically play the game now to say, if you're going to beat me, you are going to have to make a perfect shot. That was a perfect shot from Easton Miller.
Miller, who came to Chapman after growing up in Connecticut, played 4 years of high school hockey at Taft School, and also played his first 2 years of university hockey at the NCAA Division III school, St. Anselm College. So you can see why that shot is as heavy and as accurate, with him being able to play at the NCAA level. Chapman would tie the game on a power play goal by Heikki Veeranta at the 17-19 mark, assisted by Tyler Kring as well as Bert Daly. Kring has 2 assists on the game. That goal came just 15 seconds after Jesper Damgaard was whistled for tripping. Simple as a face-off zone win, a movement to the point, a pass back across the slot, and a perfectly placed shot by Veeranta.
And the Gauchos, needing to step up big on a penalty kill, don't even get much of an opportunity to get it back out of the zone. We mentioned that they've been pretty good in the face-off circle all night long, but specifically those face-offs to start penalty kills are unbelievably crucial. And the Gauchos failed to win 2 of them in a row. Fortunately, the first one didn't wind up back in the net, even though it was another great shot from Tyler Kring that wound up with a great glove save from Nora Penn. The second time, Gauchos unable to win the face-off, unable to get the clear. And with the individual skill of some of these players for Chapman, UCSB really cannot afford to give them too many opportunities with the extra man.
Boosting goal inside the final minute of that first period is Christian Ockpisch's shot from straight away at the blue line, found the back of the net, assisted by Kevin Mooney and Kyle Mooney after a great shift for UCSB where they were just buzzing. It seemed like it was only a matter of time, and indeed, with 20 seconds before intermission, Christian Ockpisch puts his first shot to the back of the net this season.
That a way to get back into it after missing your last 4 games with a suspension for Christian Ockpisch. And they do tell you all the time, coaches will always say it, announcers will always say it, it's one of those philosophies of hockey. It never hurts to put the puck through on net, because you never know what's going to happen. Ockpisch lets this one through, not necessarily a dangerous looking shot in and of itself, but between the screen in front, all the bodies standing in the way, Norick could not see anything on that shot, and it just beat him on the blocker side. He had no idea until it was past him. Great play from the Gauchos, and a fitting end to a shift that absolutely deserved a goal after the 3 or 4 unbelievable saves that Paul Norick had to make.
That would not be the end of the scoring for the period, though, as just 11 seconds later at the 1951 mark, Heikki Veeranta scores his 2nd of the game, assisted by Eric Kummerow and Easton Miller. This coming off of a face-off win by Chapman, and just a wicked wrister from straight away that beat Penn to the glove side to send us to the 3-3 score, where we currently stand in the first intermission.
And I think that's going to be the lesson the Gauchos have learned, is that they just cannot give Veeranta any room for the rest of this game. The moment he gets the puck, there's got to be body contact on him, stick-on-stick contact. The Gauchos are just going to have to be buzzing around the power forward for the Chapman Panthers in order to have an opportunity to shut him down here this evening. He's already shown on a couple instances that he does not need a lot of time, he does not need a lot of room in order to really punish UCSB.
That's your first period scoring summary. Remember, you can get in contact with team staff advisor Susan Goodale by sending her an email to susan.goodale@ucsb.edu. Goodale spelled Goodale. or call her at 805-893-3530, 893-3530 to find the best way that you can make a donation, a gift, a contribution to help the young men and women student athletes of the ice hockey at UCSB program.
Looking forward to the second period here now. We've got the Zamboni just about finished up, as I'm looking forward to seeing how the Gauchos will respond, because late goals like the ones the Gauchos scored and then promptly gave up are really big momentum changers for hockey games. So often we see goals scored late in periods being ones that influence the way the next several minutes goes after teams re-emerge from the locker room. The Gauchos with that unbelievable shift in the final dying minute of the period that gets them that big goal to put them back out in front. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're in good spot right now. They got that goal. They're going to go back to the locker room with a lead, and they absolutely deserve it. But then immediately giving one up right back the other way to Veyranta, it's going to require a very mentally tough and hardened response from the Gauchos here. Knowing that they're coming into this game on a 3-game losing streak after dropping their last 3 out on the road, knowing that they are also unbeaten so far this season here at Ice in Paradise, it's going to be interesting to see how they rally around this as a team. They're not losing the game, obviously, but knowing the history with Chapman, knowing the quality and the caliber of the players that are on the other side, it's going to be an interesting task for the Gauchos to respond to this one.
Conversely, if you're head coach Sam Properson for Chapman University, you have to be pretty happy with how your team responded despite, as you mentioned, Kyle, being outplayed for stretches by ice hockey at UCSB. We talked about the individual talent that this Chapman University side has, and especially considering the wealth of experience that Properson has all across the spectrum of coaching. It's really going to be interesting to see how he has his team prepared. I mentioned he's got a wide range of experience in coaching the sport of hockey. Matter of fact, he was the head coach of the Colombian national team at the 2015 Pan American Ice Hockey Games. It's just the second year that the nation of Colombia went to that tournament and ended up winning it. The tournament was played in Mexico, and it was a Colombian side made primarily of roller players that he was able to coach up in just 4 sessions and help them win the nation of Colombia's first ice hockey championship in an international tournament.
And we don't usually think of nations like Mexico and Colombia being hockey hotbeds, or places that are normally crazy about the sport being far more into soccer as their national pastimes. But we have also seen in the past, notably last season, what it can take in order to get a team ready in 4 practice sessions. That's unbelievable coaching in order to do that. So a great story there to wrap off this intermission as we get started for the second.
Poliuso out there with Damgard and Goldser, Piagai and Vieira, the defenseman. Looks like it is the Burke Daly line out there with Anthony Zapata and Heki Veyranta. Veyranta playing a forward now for Chapman with the defensemen Kring and Chandler. Goldser stops the puck up. Chapman not as aggressive on the forecheck to open this second period, so Goldser will wheel up the near side boards. Vieira into the zone. Vieira pass to the slot, deflects, kicked away by Norick as it bounded in on him. And now Chapman perhaps with a chance to break away. It'll just be sent forward by Daly. And the Gauchos recoil in their own end. Piagai feels Veyranta breathing on his back, able to get it forward for Goldser. Sent it into the zone. Kring back to retrieve before it could be an icing call. Chandler, long stretch pass forward. Too far for Veyranta. Piagai takes the scenic route to the puck and draws the icing.
Just a little bit of extra time to let that one draw all the way over the goal line here. Maybe a little bit of water left on the ice, helping that one slow down just enough to the point where he had to really sandbag just a little bit.
Defensive zone draw won by Chapman. Same personnel out as began the period. Shot from the line, Lawrence, save made, rebound, Hyman's chance was sticked away by Kring. Great defense by the co-captain for Chapman. Lawrence for Hyman to carry in. Hyman, Spears will track it down. Sends back to the line, Blount activates to chip it deeper, but Kring will pitchfork it out to neutral ice. Vejaranta curls off to make the line change, so plenty of time for Lawrence. For Van Duzer, who loses it neutral ice, but second help, the Gauchos able to get it to the Chapman line, but no further. Hyman for Spears. Curls away from the stick of Barrett. Spears. Past 3 Panthers on this, drops it back for Blount. Blount shot off the stick, chips behind. Shot from behind the net by Spears. Norick sealed off the post. Nice hold in by Blount for a moment, but it's chipped away for Barrett. Barrett chips to the corner. Lawrence will retrieve behind his net. Anderson bodied off of it by Blount. Spears slings it behind Hyman. Kicks off the back of his blade, won't go far enough for icing. Stretch pass for Miller. On the second try, able to whack it in. Blount has the Moonies and Barone out there as forwards, and here comes Kyle carrying in. Pass across, Barone! Couldn't get it on net. Norick may have got a piece of it. Kyle behind the net. Still holding it on his backhand. For the high slot, try to pass off. Vieira steps up to hold in for Barone. Twists it for Kevin, but the pass never got there. Barone, though, wins the puck back. Barone dips the shoulder, drives to the front of the net. Save made by Norick. He has no idea where the puck is. It squirts in front, and the official lost sight of it, blows the play dead with 16:51 to go in the second period.
I think everyone on the ice lost sight of that puck for a little while until it squirted out in front. Unfortunately for the Gauchos, by that point, the referee had just made up the decision to blow the whistle because that one had rolled right out to right between the hash marks as well. A good juicy rebound sitting there in front of an unaware goaltender. Had that whistle not blown and the Gauchos were able to get a man there first, they could have reestablished that lead.
Vieira does a good job holding the line, but Kring able to get it out on the second try for Vejaranta. Vejaranta can't get past Okpish. Played in. Okpish stretches it ahead for Kevin. Kevin on the carry and splits the pair. Couldn't get it to the net. Bodied up by Kring, and the official on the backside sees a hold. So the Gauchos look like they'll be headed to their third power play of the game.
And he's going to get Tyler Kring off the ice for that one as well. So a big opportunity for UCSB on this power play. One of the best penalty killers for Chapman going to be taking a seat, as well as one of the team captains. So for UCSB, look out for the penalty killing forward pair right now between Heki Vejaranta, and it looks to me like that's going to be Zapanta out there as well. Look out for that penalty killing forward pair, but for the Gauchos, big opportunity with one of the best defensive players for the Panthers off the ice.
Moonies and Poliuso out there as forwards for the Gauchos, but another defensive zone draw win by Chapman. Connor Pierce spinning behind his own net for Kevin, finally able to kick it free. Poliuso back to the line for Lawrence for Piagai. Kyle tried to play it to the slot. It's intercepted and played off the glass and out by Burke Daly. Lawrence stretches it forward for Kyle. Dips the shoulder to get past Vejaranta. Pass to the trailer. Shot high over top of the net by Kevin. Whistle and a penalty coming here as on the follow through he goes barreling into the Chapman goalie, and David Norick is face down on the ice and in discomfort.
And he does not look like he is in good condition right now. He is up, but not necessarily the best play there from, I believe that was Kevin Mooney, who went barreling into the crease after letting that shot go. And they are waving Kind of hard to tell. It looks like they were waving the coaching staff out there. We may be seeing a goaltending change here from the Chapman Panthers. Norick is up and skating and on his own power.
But with the goaltender interference penalty taken on the play by Kevin Mooney, it moots out the final 1:18 of power play time. Norick looks like he's going to be okay to go. But some 4-on-4 coming before Chapman will go to their second power play of the game.
And the Gauchos really need to work on that discipline while they are up a man there, as they see 1:18 of power play time go by the wayside because of just a hard charge to the front of the net that probably could have been avoided had Mooney maybe just taken an extra effort to try to avoid the Chapman goaltender on that one.
Panthers will elect to use Daly Zapanta as well as Miller on a point,
So
and
three
Connor
forwards and a
Pierce.
defenseman in this 4-on-4 for the Panthers.
Spears wins the draw, goes in on Penn. She shrugs it away with her shoulder. Daly comes up with it and sends it back to the line for Pierce. For Daly. Daly, heavy hit by Piagai, gets it to the line but held in by Pierce. Shot chipped away by Lawrence for Spears. Cooper ahead, can't connect with Goldser. Goldser ahead to nullify the icing. Takes the hit from Pierce to move the puck along and chipped it free for a moment, but Miller spun it back for Spears, who sends it to the line. Nobody's there. Look out. Chance for perhaps a break for Daly. Daly shot wide of the glove side of Penn. Miller will hold in. 35 seconds remaining in 4-on-4. Perilous pass in front. Shot goes wide from the point. Daly with Lawrence on his back. Continues to curl in the far corner, looking to get free of Jag. And Lawrence finally able to slide the puck free behind the net for Piagai. Fresh forwards coming out for Chapman as Spears gains the line, gets by the man, Spears in, shoots, save made by Norick. He went fishing Johnny Bauer style with the poke check, came up empty but sealed it off with the pads and makes the save to hold with 14:28 to go in the second period. That's right, Kyle, I said Johnny Bauer, original 6 in the house.
Never ever question my co-broadcaster here on anything to do with goaltender knowledge.
Off the draw, puck sent wide. Chapman now on the power play. Kyle continues to control in the offensive zone. Threw it to the front of the net. Nobody home. Blount steps up to backhand it back deeper. Under 30 seconds to go in the abbreviated Chapman power play. Sent in front by Kyle. Couldn't connect with a hard-charging Gaucho player. Pierce back in his own end. Kyle giving him what for. Miller plays it off the end boards, bounces back in on Norick, and he will hold for the draw. 11 seconds remain in the shortened Chapman power play. They have been unable to get out their own end.
They have to say they haven't even left their own blue line yet. If you're a penalty-killing forward, this is the best possible place to spend the entirety of this brief Chapman power play down next to David Norick.
Looks like that's Ockpish going to take the draw. Remember, he played some forward last year. Ice hockey at UCSB.
A big body to hold that puck and contain it down in the Gaucho end.
And he does, able to kill off the remainder of the Chapman power play. So the Panthers 1 for 2 today with the extra man. But Vearanta controls and will work it to the blue line before being stopped up by Ockpish. Kevin comes back to retrieve and leaves for Blount. Vearanta the steal, couldn't connect it first, but Zapanta carries in. Vearanta was unable to get back on side. Kyle, he looked like you that one practice you took with ice hockey at UCSB, all crossed up and ended up on his backside.
So basically you're telling me his tailbone is probably going to be hurting for the next few days after that one.
I'm just saying Hecky Vearanta's like you, dude.
If you're saying I'm that talented, I'll take that as a serious compliment. Thank you.
Face-off in neutral ice. Barone against Daly. And the Gauchos control off the draw. Ahead comes Kevin Mooney. Mooney Tries to draw through the defense on the second try. Kring able to whack it out to center. UCSB recoils. We played 7 minutes here in period number 2. Looks like Hunter Van Duzer taking a shift on defense here for the Gauchos. And he will step back as Daly comes in on him, curls away from it. Waits for the late arriving defenseman, gets it to Chandler. Chandler shot through traffic wide. Kring, shot misses the far post. Chipped out of the zone by Kevin. Barone intercepts and carries in. Area pass, the far side corner. Kring up the glass, not out. Gauchos switch to the near side boards. Kumaro under pressure from Kevin Mooney, who takes the puck behind the goal. Chandler played it forward. Kumaro off the boards ahead for the carry by Barrett. Takes a healthy whack from Mooney. Played forward. Pauliuso able to chip it past Chandler. Will gain the red and shoot it in himself. Kring back to retrieve and pays the price from Pauliuso, but able to move forward for Chandler to get it out where it's stopped up by Lawrence. Jag on the tape to Pauliuso. Pauliuso on his backhand, draws. Couldn't get it on net. Puck dug free again. There's that fishing poke check, knocking it free for a moment. Piagai shot, deflected down the slot, backhander. Sailed high and wide by Goldser. Backhand shot, save made by Norick as Cooper Spears making it happen by himself, but gets nothing but glove.
And the Gauchos doing well to keep testing David Norick, and by doing so, reestablishing control of the game. By keeping this control here through this second period, they are doing well in limiting the opportunities that they are giving to the Panthers, while not only doing so, but also increasing their chances of maybe putting one past them and regaining this lead.
Chapman won the draw, but the Gauchos continue to dig in that corner. Finally, Chapman able to get it out where Vieira will pick it up. No score in the second period, 3-3, all goals coming in the first 20. Gomez able to roll it into the Gaucho zone where Vieira back to retrieve and sends for Goldser. Vieira. Just one high forechecker in Zapanta. And the turnover created for a moment, but it passed across the slot, intercepted, and now will be cleared. Goldser shot it in, able to get the change as Spears and hard into the boards. The Chapman player, don't see a number on it, and an immediate wave to the bench.
I believe that was
Panther
Jason
players
Gomez,
on the bench.
That was ugly. And not dirty from Cooper Spears. This was a shoulder-to-shoulder 50-50 puck, but oh boy, really ugly entry into the boards there.
It seemed like Gomez may have lost an edge going into the end boards, and that's one of those nightmare scenarios for any player. When you're going hard on a 50-50 puck like that, if you lose an edge, catch a rut in the ice, just go down hard shoulder first into those end boards.
I'm hoping it was shoulder first and not head or neck first at this point, because not to mention, you go down in that situation and you lose an edge, you could wind up putting your head first into the boards with momentum at that point, and your entire body's momentum then goes into your skull and your neck, and oh boy, this is how players get really hurt. Situations just like that. Hopefully he's okay. Not a whole lot of movement, though. That is not something we like to see.
Not only is Coach Sam Properson for Chapman out there, but immediately you saw personnel coming from the ice hockey at UCSB side of things. And Gomez continues to be attended to, as both teams now at their bench, with the exception of Easton Miller, who's having a
and
chat
there's leg
with
movement,
Norick,
which is good.
Gaucho assistant Ben Brecker.
Leg
Out
movement
as well.
Leg movement with that kind of an entry is a very good sign. I'm breathing a little bit easier for him because, oh boy, from our angle, that looks like it could have been really, really bad.
Assistant coach Ben Brecker going to his pocket. And I've never been good at reading sign language, Kyle, but it looks like
they're probably going to try to, I don't know if they might want to stretcher him out of here or what it is, but he's really not moving very much at all.
And if it is an injury like that, that is really the best thing to do, not to move.
He has moved both legs, though, which is a very good sign. So,
of course, neither of us are trained medical professionals, so don't want to even begin to speculate about possibilities for this. But we may be settling in for a bit of a delay here.
And obviously, as Gaucho broadcasters, we never want to see anything like this happen for anybody on either side.
As hockey fans, as hockey broadcasters, as human beings, you never want to see somebody else get hurt like this.
It's just one of those things where it's one of the risks of the game, really. The guys go out there knowing that this sort of thing can happen when you're playing on a sheet of ice and you can go sliding around. So you never want to see anything like this happen, though. The rules are in place for things to prevent hits from this like this from happening intentionally, obviously, but you never want to see anything like this happen even on some sort of an accident as well. So I think we are going to be delayed here for a little bit until we can get some sort of stabilization to get him out. And I think we do have it looks to me like, reading from the sign language, that we may have emergency personnel on the way here, which I don't believe they are that far away from here at Ice in Paradise. If my local area knowledge serves me well, I think they should be able to get someone over relatively quickly, which probably the best thing for him is to get treatment quickly.
I believe that is, in fact, I see Ben Brecker, the assistant coach for UCSB, on his cell phone. So, too, in the area is assistant Steve Hines for the Gauchos. Both of them former hockey players. Hines, of course, at the NHL level. Brecker, a former goalie for Bowling Green State University. They've been in situations like this before, and this is one where you just have to sit back and wait.
And hold your breath, really, at this point.
And hope for the best.
Hope for the best. And as I've mentioned, the good news is we have seen him move both of his legs under his own power. I believe I have seen arm movement under his own power as well. So worrying specifically, you see things like that and you worry a bit about the spinal cord with the neck injuries and the head injuries and things like that. But seeing him move both of those, all four of his extremities from our end, is definitely a very encouraging sign. And he is definitely going to need some medical treatment for sure. And fortunately, we have some very high quality facilities here in the Santa Barbara metropolitan area who hopefully will be able to get him some help quickly, because he's probably going to need it.
And in this circumstance, too, immediate credit you have to give to the staff here at Ice in Paradise, to the medical personnel on the ice hockey at UCSB bench, immediately up off the sheet, making sure that
it was immediate response.
With the player going
in seconds
into the boards. And
I think we have the teams heading to the locker room for a little bit here, so that's just a sign of how long this delay is going to take.
Wow.
So we may be here for a little bit.
Ice hockey at UCSB and Chapman University, an American Collegiate Hockey Association Division II game here at Ice in Paradise, currently delayed as a player heavy into the end boards. So I'm looking at the players as they come by, try and tell you who it is, who's the injured player, as we've not been able to see. a number. There's been no movement, as there really, in a situation like this,
should
dictate. Absolutely no attempt to do so. In a moment like this. Color commentator Kyle Nicolas getting an update from Gaucho captain Justin Goldser, letting us know what the situation is as far as how things will proceed for this game.
So
Kyle?
they are headed to the locker room, but they're going to come back out as soon as they got the emergency personnel are here and they get him off the ice. So the emergency personnel from Santa Barbara are on their way to help him, and I would imagine that probably wouldn't be more than a few minutes until they've arrived. But the teams are headed back to the locker room in the meantime until then.
Well, fans, at this time, as we await the arrival of emergency personnel, we're going to take a brief pause as far as our broadcast coverage here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Certainly all the best thoughts, wishes, hopes, and prayers in this situation for the injured Chapman University player. Hard collision in along the end boards. We're going to step aside, and we'll be back when we're back to hockey action here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Fans, once again, this is still live coverage of ice hockey at UCSB versus Chapman University. Gauchos and Panthers currently in a delay as there's been an injury sustained by Chapman University player Connor Pierce. He's being attended to by medical professionals. We'll be back once game action resumes. So a 2-minute skating session is currently going on as a injured player has been taken away by medical personnel. Connor Pierce, defenseman for Chapman University, hard into the end boards, left on a stretcher, and will be taken to a local medical facility. Players and teams looking to get back into hockey mode, Kyle Nicolas. But in a situation like this, it's kind of hard to get back into that same competitive sort of mentality, especially considering with Pierce, so too will go head coach Sam Wieproperson to take care of him at the hospital. So Chapman now not only down your defenseman and 2-year letter winner out of Aspen, Colorado with the Aspen High School Skiers, but now with just 3 positional defensemen on this roster that they have with them, and it's going to be player coach from here on out.
And obviously our thoughts and best wishes and prayers are going out to Connor Pierce right now. You never like seeing anything like that happen to really anybody on any team who comes in, and whether it's your barn or anyone else's barn, whatever it is. Unfortunately, sometimes it does become part of our game and the sport we love here so much. So we give best wishes to them and best wishes to Chapman. And a very nice moment, actually, as the teams were skating and warming up, because this is the second period. Goaltenders are in the nets opposite of their bench. So goaltender for Chapman, David Norick, down in the Santa Barbara end as they're warming up, and all of the Gauchos going by and appearing to offer their best wishes and their condolences for their fallen comrade here in this one, and maybe a little bit of some extra motivation for Chapman now in this one, and not let this one get away for their buddy Connor.
3-3 game, all 3 goals for each team in the first period. back to action with 10:15 to go in the second period. And the puck gets past Jag Lawrence, but held in by Tyler Barone at the point for Dominic Calcio. Calcio being worked over there, gets second man in Barone for help, but it's dug free for Heki Veeranta. He has 2 of the 3 Chapman goals and dips a shoulder to drive forward. His shot blocked by the defenseman Piagai. Zapanta with it in the near side corner, works it behind the net. Zapanta curls away from the charging Calcio. Barone dispossesses him. Puck stolen by Daly. Daly drags it around the net. Curling shot blocked by Piagai, picked up by Barone. Barone resets behind his own net, finding Jag Lawrence. Piagai curls back, one high forecheck from Chapman. Remember, they were sending 2 and 3 up in that first period. Lawrence, though, able to carry through center into the attack end. Lost it in his feet, but Kyle Mooney able to come up with it. Kyle, curling, pass to the slot, intercepted. Ahead comes Easton Miller. He has a goal on the game and screams a whister wide of the glove side. Lawrence steps up to knock the puck to the point, but Kring holds it in there. Jag now with it for Kyle. Switch for Pauliuso along the near side boards. Pauliuso stood up at the Chapman line by Chandler, and he sends it back into the UCSB end. Area pass for Pauliuso that he's able to chip past one man, but not the second. And here comes Kumaro for Chapman. Kumaro tries to play it to the slot behind his intended target. Taken away by Pauliuso, sent to the line, but Kring holds in. Pass across, slapper by Miller, tip play, goes just wide. Kumaro with a nice deflection on it, but couldn't put it on net. Miller holds the line, comes up with a steal. Miller's shot, blocked by Pauliuso. Van Duzer chips it to the corner for Pauliuso. Hooked free from him, and now Kring with it. Shot blocker save by Penn.
Great save by Penn, just off the edge of that blocker as well.
Piagai tried to stretch it ahead for Kevin, too far. Rolls in on Norick, and he will hold for the face-off with Mooney hard charging at him. 7:35 to go second period.
So an interesting start here, maybe a little bit of timidity from both teams as they struggle to kind of get the momentum back into this game, kind of get their heads recentered after the long delay. And for the Gauchos, maybe needing to stave off a little bit of adrenaline here from the Panthers.
Veeranta couldn't connect with Zapanta. Blounce along the far side boards, held in by Gomez for Veeranta. Veeranta stepped over the stick of Goldser, but a whistle and a stoppage in play, and Goldser, I think, is going to be whistled here.
And he is going to be going off for tripping, and as much as he seems to be objecting to the call, I think that was pretty black and white and a relatively easy one to make for the officials, as Goldser's stick kind of just got caught in the skates of a Chapman player and dragged him down along the blue line. So maybe not necessarily intentional on the part of Goldser, but the rules don't have any sort of caveats for intent. If you take the guy down, you take the guy down and you sit for 2.
1 for 2 on the power play, the Panthers. Zapanta sends back to the line. Kring deflected out of the zone by Spears. Heki Veeranta with the power play goal, and now a giveaway for Damgard. Damgard centered, Spears shoots it wide. Cooper comes back up with it, sends for Van Duzer, who will just sweep it back in and kill off some additional time. UCSB has melted the first 35 seconds of the Chapman power play. Kring waiting behind the net to begin the breakout. Saucer pass too far for Veeranta. Spears given a rough ride into the boards. Blounce able to clear it forward. Kring had it taken away after pressure from Damgard, but Zapanta stood up at the line and backhanded out by Spears. Kring winds and fires. Easy blocker for Nora to the far corner. Kring, backhand to the post for the late arrival. Picked up by Daly. Daly to the line, Gomez. For Vejaranta. Vejaranta, tip plays Zapata. Nora sagt nein!
And in case you did not realize this, ladies and gentlemen, our play-by-play is bilingual, speaking a little bit of German. I wouldn't say fluent.
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. I'm not like Nora, who speaks 3 languages, German, English, and Italian.
And she says English is her worst of the 3, too, doesn't she?
Pretty remarkable.
Pretty remarkable, considering that she sounds pretty darn good.
Puck along the near side boards in the zone. Shot by Miller off the post! Back to the point for Anderson. Anderson shot wide. Kring holds the point. Miller back for Kring. Fakes the slapper. His pass intercepted and cleared by Akpish, but knocked down by a high stick by Kring. Akpish waiting. Power play over for Chapman, and he plays it forward for Golzer, but it bounced off of him and able to be chipped back in by Chapman.
That's one way to kill off the last few seconds of that penalty.
5 minutes to go in the second period as Greg Hyman dances by the Kring hit. Hyman winds, fires, slapper, blocker to side by Norick. Lawrence couldn't hold the point. Big Eric Kumerl steams through him. Odd man chance, shot wide. Kring will track down the rebound on the far side boards. And has it knocked free for a moment by Barone, but he's able to chip it deeper. Swept around by Vieira off the back of the cage. Lawrence lofts one high. Bounces for Hyman. Greg has a player breaking behind the defense. Couldn't pull the trigger to pass it to him, and so Zapata will take it forward for Chapman. His shot blocked by Vieira, and he loses it in his equipment. So a face-off forthcoming in the Gaucho defensive end.
And it's always kind of funny when you go down to block that shot and you come back up and the puck is suddenly gone and you wind up fishing it out of your pants or something like that. So maybe a little bit of a Grand Theft puck there for Vieira, or at least attempted Grand Theft puck.
Well, worse things worse. He knows that now he's got a career as a birthday clown. Can make things disappear like that. Defensive zone draw, won by Chapman. Shot from the line, tip! And a save made by Penn. The fluttering wrister from Chandler. Burt Daly got a touch on it, but grabbed off by the glove.
And perhaps this is a little bit of a symptom or side effect of that penalty that the Gauchos were killing, but over the last several minutes since they came back, I would argue that they've been the slower team, really. They haven't had a lot of the momentum. Chapman maybe with a little bit of that adrenaline rush, some extra motivation for winning this one for their fallen comrade. But at the same time, the Gauchos not really responding very well to that long break, appearing to have lost an awful lot of their momentum here in this one.
Zapata with a heavy hit on Kyle Mooney. Don't tell him about size disparity. Vejaranta in, fakes the slapper, stood up by Piagai, works it deeper. Blounce for Kyle. Chipped and intercepted by Daly. His shot high over the top. Vejaranta throws it through the crease, no one home. Kevin can't chip it past Gomez. Gomez throws it in front, off a skate. Will bounce for Poliuso. And he's got a lane up the near wing. Mitch, 2 points tonight. Backhands it in on Norick. He makes the save and holds it with 3:17 to go in the second period. Poliuso, the Gauchos' first goal, also had a helper on their second of the game, scored by Cooper Spears.
And the Gauchos doing a pretty good job of taking care of the traffic in front of Nora Penn through that offensive pressure they just sustained right there. But now they need to work on getting it back down to the other end, putting a few more shots in on goaltender David Norick to really kind of reverse the way the momentum has swung since the delay.
Off the block, here comes Chapman. Shot, save made by Penn, sticking away the Barrett backhander. To the line, not out. Kring's shot over the top. Van Duzer shrugs off Barrett to get it ahead for Calcio. Spears can't chip it past the 3 Chapman players. Area backhand to the near corner. Picked up by Vieira. For Herlihy. Stretches for Calcio. Calcio into the zone. Calcio driven wide by Anderson for Spears. Cooper takes a heavy hit from Kring. Miller plays it along the near side boards for Kring to carry out. Hooked away from him, but picked up in neutral ice by Barrett for the carry in. Barrett curls to the slot off the tip of the stick of Kummerl to the near side boards. Kring. Pulsio got a stick on it. Bounced it to Spears. Spears. Driving, shooting, pad save, goes behind the net. Back to the line, Vieira shot, tipped. Puck sitting there in the near side circle, and Easton Miller will pick it up. Miller slowly rolls it in, and a change for Chapman. Under 2 to go here, period number 2. Damgard. Stick checked away by Veeranta. Dipping the shoulder, Daly curls with it, far side boards to the point. Gomez couldn't get it to Veeranta. Vieira interjected, but Daly dipsy doodling with it for Veeranta. Veeranta can't pull the trigger as he had Damgard back checking him. And ultimately Goldser will curl for the reset in his own end. Chapman 1-2-2 pressure here, as Goldser able to work it out up the near side boards. Whistle and a penalty call.
And that's
coming, and it's a trip, I believe, against Zapanta.
As I say, that's an interesting call if that one goes against Goldser, but Zapanta, I don't know necessarily about the trip, but boy, he really had Goldser lined up on that one, went for the hit, and I guess the referee got him just for kind of clipping Goldser as Goldser went past. Both of them went down. Zapanta actually arguably got the worst of that one, going flying into the glass on that one. Obviously, you know, you mentioned earlier this game definitely doesn't shy away or play to what you think he would for his stature, but the Gauchos will take it nonetheless, getting a power play and a chance to maybe reestablish themselves here, maybe get a late one to take back to the locker room for the second intermission.
0 for 3 on the power play. Piagai holds the line and can on the second try as it comes out for Kring. Kring throws it in on Penn, save made, and it sticks to her, so she has to hold for the face-off.
And a good, fortunate save with no rebound for Penn on that one as well, as the Panthers had, I believe that was number 24, Burke Daly, going flying out over to the net. Maybe not. Maybe I was mistaken on that one. Maybe it was Easton Miller. But either way, they had a penalty-killing forward going right to the far post, and the way that puck was shot, it was primed for a rebound going right back out to where that player was going. That could easily have been a shorthanded goal.
40 seconds to go in period number 2 as Piagai dropped the pass back, and it comes for Pauliuso. Pauliuso stood up. Clearance held by Piagai. Piagai shot, save made, rebound, bouncing around, puck played by a high stick, and we'll get a stoppage in play thereafter as Norick ends up stomach first on the ice once again.
And the Gauchos doing a pretty good job of holding their blue line on that power play in order to not allow that puck out. You turn that puck over, you fail to clear it out, a lot of times we see that puck wind up behind your goaltender not long after, so the Gauchos doing a good job of maintaining the pressure and holding the zone in order to really try to ramp it up, and they do get a pretty good scoring chance out of it this time.
Draw goes all the way into the near corner of the Chapman zone. Kevin Mooney intercepts the attempted clear, but Easton Miller able to get it out on the second try, and perhaps a chance for a 2-on-2 here. Loads and fires. Well wide, Penn did well to come out and cut the angle, and now a chance for the Gauchos, but Kevin went off sides, no chance to make the play. And that will do it for the second period of action here at Ice in Paradise. After 6 goals between the two sides in the first 20 minutes, nothing added to the ledger in period number 2, and our score with 40 in the books. Ice hockey at UCSB 3, Chapman University 3, and
looks like the officials, the teams have not left for the locker room yet. I'm wondering if they're going to be doing an ice cut here, or if they're just going to maybe drop the puck on the third period to get the game rolling.
Of course, you did have the significant delay due to the injuries suffered in the second period. Connor Pierce
we are going to have
hard
puck
into
still,
the end
though.
Boards. reminds me a little bit of the NCHA days when there would be no ice cut between the first and second period. NCHA days, I say as if they were oh so long ago. It was just last season that ice hockey at UCSB and Chapman were participants in that league as the Chuckapucks come raining in. And it looks like, Kyle, we're going to have a 5-minute intermission here before the teams get back out and back at it. You wonder if perhaps Ice in Paradise has something special scheduled for Halloween evening, so need to get this game going and need to get this result in the books.
Yeah, you never want to see delays like that, especially undue ones coming in the middle of the period. So, this obviously not being an NHL building, they don't really have the luxury of being able to extend these things out as long as they'd like to. So chuck a puck going quickly there. Team's kind of getting a chance to reset, get some rest in, and get ready for a third period. That's definitely going to be nothing shy of competitive, hard-nosed hockey. 3-3 tie through 2 periods. I really wouldn't expect much else. Maybe I would have expected a couple goals in that period, but these two teams have been so close every time they've played for the last several games that, it's really hard to imagine just about anything else, really.
And Ice Hockey at UCSB is thankful for the support of Center Ice Santa Barbara. Center Ice is a brand new hockey and figure skating retail showroom in Santa Barbara County, located in Goleta, just minutes from the Ice in Paradise facility. It's the premier destination in Central California to find your hockey and figure skating equipment and apparel. Located at 7127 Hollister Avenue in Suite 8 in Goleta, call Center Ice at 805-770-7970, 805-770-7970, or visit them on the web at Center Ice SB.
And if you go and visit there, you just may run into Gaucho defenseman James Blount, who works at the shop over there.
Come to Ice in Paradise,
and he might run into you.
Indeed. You could also run into Jag Lawrence, who works at Ice in Paradise as well, as a not only a staffer here, but I believe he also gives private lessons for both skating and hockey as well.
So it's not a bad guy to learn skating from, that's for sure. I wish I had even half of his speed. I'd be a much better weekend warrior at my beer league back at home.
So as we mentioned, no score through the second period. In the second period of play, a quick recap of the goals in the first. The Gauchos, Poliuso, assisted by Kevin Mooney to make it 1-0. They made it 2-0 on a goal by Cooper Spears, assisted by Greg Hyman and Mitchell Poliuso. Chapman got one back on an Easton Miller goal, assisted by Tyler Kring. Chapman would tie it on a power play goal by Heki Vearanta, assisted by Kring and Daly. Santa Barbara with a goal in the last minute. A Christian Ockpish shot from the line found its way home, assisted by Kevin and Kyle Mooney. And then Chapman, with just 9 seconds remaining in the first, Vearanta getting his second of the game, assisted by Kumaro and by Miller to set us where we stand at the end of the second period of play. And Kyle, I know we may be cutting it a touch close, but do you have any out-of-town scores to apprise us of? Or would it be better to take a look back at the 3 keys that we said at the beginning of the game and how UCSB has handled them thus far?
I think it would be better to go back and take a look at some of the keys from earlier this game. I don't think any games from anywhere else in Southern California have started yet this evening, this being the earliest start, scheduled at 4:45. Most of the other games, I believe, start at, I think the earliest one I saw when I was scanning through the Twitter feed was 7 o'clock tonight.
So the first key, the keys to the game, brought to you by today's Rally Towel sponsor, Matrix Nightclub, 409 State Street in Santa Barbara. Cover the net front. How have the Gauchos done as far as that goes?
Well, the net front in front of Nora Penn has been pretty well looked after this game. You have seen multiple Chapman players try to work their way down there, but the Gauchos have really not let a whole lot go, essentially either unchallenged or really even make its way over in front of the net to Nora Penn as well. Notably, I can think of Anthony Zapanta making his way there a lot, but again, using that small frame but very strong skating stance and very strong balance ability to really try to wreak havoc in front. But Jag Lawrence has done very well containing him here this evening.
Second key, a good first 10 minutes. I think we can argue, and we can say without much argument, rather, getting the first goal, drawing a 5-on-3 power play. They met that. Third key, containing Heki Veeranta. Oh, he's just a force of nature, isn't he? It's hard to spit into the wind. It's hard to stop the surf.
But for the Gauchos, yeah, 2 goals against necessarily, but at the same time, that may be one of the lower expectations, I guess you can say. Not a whole lot of scoring through this one based on maybe what we're used to, 3-3. But for the Gauchos, I think they really reset very well defensively that last game. Maybe didn't come out of that extended delay quite as well as they would have liked. But again, the ledger resets here now, the third period. So Gauchos back to the way it was in the first period, except for the clean sheet of ice, which we aren't going to have for this 20 minutes. But an opportunity for starting the period on the power play and a chance to really establish themselves early in the first 10 minutes of the third here.
57 seconds of power play time to begin it. Spears out there with the Moonies. As the puck comes out to neutral ice and a turnover created by Daly. Spears switches for Kyle. Kyle kicks it. Feet to stick. Back to the line for Blounce. Blounce for Kyle. Kyle for Vieira. Vieira setting up near point. Skims it for Blount. 25 seconds to go on the power play. Blount again, pressured by Daly for Vieira. Aggressive box here from Chapman as Kevin leaves back for Vieira. Kevin again. Vieira. Shot through traffic and a save made by Norick, with Spears out in front blocking out the sun.
And those are the times where you really hope your goaltender's going to come up with that save and not spit something out. A good, kind of awkward looking save, but solid technique. Good positioning from David Norick on that one to get his glove on it. Maybe not necessarily into the mesh webbing of the glove, but enough to get the save.
Blount shot wide. Power play is over for the Gauchos. Vieira. Pass to the slot. Shot off the inside of the crossbar by Kyle Mooney.
That's the release speed right there, and look out.
Veeranta. His shot screams wide of Penn's blocker and kicks out to neutral ice. For the Gauchos a chance in transition. Kevin for Kyle. Kyle had it knocked off his stick for a moment, but he's able to fillet it behind the net for Kevin. Knocked away by Chandler, and Jonathan wins the puck for Chapman. Kumaro. Pass off the heel of Veeranta's stick. Kevin able to hold in for Kyle. Tried to pass it back post, couldn't connect with Spears. Veeranta. Anderson taken away from behind by Kyle. Backhander goes behind the net. Kevin for Spears, shot. Kyle with it once more. Hit along the boards by Veeranta. Veeranta sends it to the line, and Piagai, he said he held it in. I'm not sure about that. Give and go.
I think Chapman complaining on the blue line has a point. I think that one just came outside.
Piagai switches it to his defense partner Lawrence. Jag will shoot it in so the Gauchos can complete their line change as Jesper Damgaard controls along the far side boards. Leaned on by Daly, but powers through him. Damgaard out there with Poliuso and Goldser. Damgaard back for Poliuso in the corner. Throws it in front. Goldser digging for it. Can't come up with it, but Poliuso there to retrieve and send to the line. Lawrence's slapper off the back of the heel of Zapata and off the sheet. Face-off coming up in the Chapman end with 17:15 to go in the third.
And good momentum build from the Gauchos on that one right there, capitalizing on a good power play that really didn't get a whole lot of shots through, but controlled the puck in the Chapman end for virtually the entire time. So the Gauchos building on it, really cycling the puck well, really trying to wear down on these short-benched Panthers here by making the puck do a lot of the movement. And so far, pretty good results, just unfortunately no tie-breaking goal just yet.
Delay as Barrett had a couple words with the official before coming on the ice. Chapman able to chip it out on the backhander by Burt Daly. This one will go the length of the sheet, and Blount ensures the icing. Remember, you can follow your Gauchos on a litany of social networking platforms, like on Facebook at facebook.com/icehockeyUCSB. Follow at UCSB Ice Hockey on Twitter or on Instagram, UCSB Ice Hockey. Off the draw, Poliuso muscles his man off the puck. Poliuso throws in front, save, rebound, score! Justin Goldser! And the Gauchos are back in front 4-3.
And we're just going to name that area immediately in front of the opposition goaltender on top of the goal crease, Justin Goldser's office. Wayne Gretzky's office being back behind the net where he made his living. Goldser apparently doesn't know how to score from anywhere else, but he's so effective at just scoring the gritty, dirty goals by being in that spot in the right time. And once again, it's just a bank in play off of a rebound off Norick's pad, but Justin Goldser, consistent for getting about a goal a game this season so far, comes up with another one here to break the tie.
6th of the year for him, assisted by Damgard and by Poliuso, as off the draw Zapanta, forcing Penn to make a nice save there. 3-point night now for Mitchell Poliuso, who extends on his team lead. He's got 11 on the season in 6 games played, nearly 2 per trip to the sheet for 60 minutes.
I think we've compared him before to a guy that plays down in Anaheim by the name of Corey Perry. Leads the team in that point production, but also not afraid to get under your skin. Just one of those infuriating players to have to play against as an opponent. But boy, the Gauchos love having him.
Chapman's certainly familiar with him, playing just a matter of miles from Honda Center at the KHS Ice Station. Here comes UCSB again. Barone on the draw. Barone backhander save made by Norick, and he holds.
And Barone just tested Norick a little bit to see if he was going to get him to cheat there, and he almost caught him. I think Barone had another man going with him. I believe that if I look down, that was Greg Hyman going down towards the far post with him. Hyman was not currently covered when that shot came from Barone, but Barone opted not to take that pass, instead just putting the backhand shot through, and it almost squeaked its way through Norick.
Face-off won by Vearanta. Chapman along the near side boards. Kumaro to the line. Hyman slows it up. Regains control for the Gauchos. Christian Ockpish dips his shoulder. Shot save made by Norick. Couldn't get his stick on the rebound. It's played ahead for Evan Anderson. Anderson into the zone. Drops for Vearanta. Shot glove saved by Penn. Anderson on the rebound, but Hyman able to get the puck away, but turns it over to Vearanta behind the net. Vearanta turns, shoots. Save made by Penn, sent it behind the net. Vieira will swing it forward, and UCSB tries to switch to the near side. Couldn't connect with Ockpish. They go for a change. Easton Miller, hard off the boards and in. Van Duzer will retrieve. Spears out there with Colsio and Evelhoch. As it's sitting at the Gaucho blue line, still not out. Chance for Kring. Kring's shot, well high and wide. Spears will track down the rebound. Sidesteps the hip check, but Chapman comes up with possession anyway. Chandler, pocket picked. Chandler now down on the ice and in some discomfort. Vearanta on the carry-in, and Chandler lost his left glove.
Up and moving, though, and his hand's moving. Looks like he may have gotten chopped across the wrist on that one. No call coming from the officials.
Well, the zebra with the orange armbands and the linesman are all together in the center ice circle. Just looking to see where this face-off is going to be, and it'll be in neutral ice towards the Gaucho end of the sheet.
Chandler clearly not happy about something.
14:57 to go in the third period, 4-3 UCSB. Daly on the draw. Wins it for Zapanta. Sends it in behind Penn, who will touch for a defender. Colsio, Kring bearing in on him, able to force it back behind. Blount. Penn directs traffic. As the feed ahead. And out to neutral ice. Colsio can't chip it past Gomez, but on the second try, able to spend it back behind on Norick. Kring retrieves with Evelhoch pressuring. Kring in up the right wing. Puts it between his legs to get by Van Duzer. Tried to backhand in front, blocked it to the corner. Barrett turns it over there to Van Duzer. Saucer hops the stick of Calcio. And Gomez sends it back into the Gaucho end.
And Chapman's starting to put that forecheck a lot higher now that they're chasing this game. Really putting the Gauchos under pressure at their own blue line, not making it easy to proceed through that neutral zone.
Kevin's pass too far for Poliuso. Mitch gets the stick in on the hips of the defender for Chapman and sends him into the boards, going to play the puck, and he's going to sit for 2 for it.
And I believe, did we get an even up penalty on this one? Because as they came back up, it looked to me like Zapanta took an extra shot at Poliuso, but I think Poliuso is the only one to go here. So for the Gauchos now needing a clutch penalty kill against a power play that's been very effective against them so far here this evening once they've gotten down into their own end. So for the Gauchos, another big moment here where they really need. I saw 5 Gauchos on the ice for a second, was a little confused there. Where they really need to come up with a big penalty kill here.
The Moonies will step off. 1 for 3 on the power play today, Chapman. The indication was Poliuso 2 for boarding. Daly out there with Kumaro, Zapanta as the forwards. And the Gauchos will make the defenseman chase. Easton Miller out there with Tyler Kring. Miller with it now. Connects with Kumaro. Kumaro ridden off the puck by Piagai. Switches it over for Zapanta. Miller walks the line, gives up for Zapanta. Hesitates, back for Miller. We've seen his slap shot already in the game. Looking for a lane perhaps to set it up here. Tons of traffic in front of Penn. Zapanta back for Miller. Slap pass off the end boards. Daly regains with 1:15 to go in the power play. Kring. Shot. Off the boot of the Gaucho defender to the near corner. Kring again loads and fires a flutterer that Penn comes up with a glove save on.
Lots of traffic in front. Penn being forced to stay back deeper in her crease in order to get a glimpse of that shot as it went through, but good reactionary save and great technique to make sure she kept her glove just on top of her leg pad right there, because that is right where that shot from Kring was going. Maybe he would argue he didn't get all of it, but nonetheless still a very dangerous shot on what's been a good-looking power play for the Panthers.
Vejaranta out there on the power play now for Chapman. Is UCSB able to get the immediate clear? Damgard in pressuring as Kring will play forward. Chipped on the backhand, but no further than Barrett. Miller will carry in. Switches for Kumaro. His shot blocked by Lawrence. And the Gauchos able to get the clear. Barone pressuring Vejaranta. 17, stick checking 17. Vejaranta for Kring. Kring, drop pass. Mooney intercepted, but swept deeper by Miller for Kring. On the backhand, Kring draws another penalty. Back to the line for Miller, and he will just give this up with 6 seconds of 5-on-3 time for Chapman, as Jaguar Lawrence is going to sit down for a hold.
And the Gauchos now even more clutch penalty killing being needed here. 12 minutes exactly remaining in this one, but they're really walking a very thin line here with the discipline on this one. And I believe we have Chapman calling their timeout to try to draw something up, maybe a face-off play, which is going to make this one even more crucial for the Gauchos, who have been pretty good on face-offs, specifically in their defensive zone on this penalty kill, winning, I believe, the 2 or 3 that they have faced and forcing Chapman to have to come 200 feet in order to attack the goal. But nonetheless, 6 seconds is plenty of time, especially on a deep defensive zone face-off, for your opponent to come in and score in really just moments, and especially with the shooters that we've seen so far here from Chapman, between Kring, between Miller, between Vejaranta, they are more than capable of doing that.
05 Public Relations and Advertising graduate of Chapman University, Coach Sam Properson, going over the strategy with his players. And Kyle, I thought it was an interesting tactic. As soon as the Panthers realized that there was a second power play forthcoming, the call came from the bench. Give it up, give it up, give it up, to try and get as much time as possible for the 5-on-3. It's not something that you see all that often, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense.
I don't know why you don't see it more often, to be honest. I kind of agree with Coach Properson on this one. Give that puck up and maximize your time with a two-man advantage, not to mention also that face-off coming down low, rather than waste some of that time having to get your goaltender off the ice and then get another man out there. But even then, that doesn't reduce or increase the amount of open space on the ice.
Off the draw, first penalty is over.
Good work there from Andrew Vieira, knowing that he was down in a vulnerable position to make sure that he froze that puck along the boards there. Not a delay of game penalty necessarily, but good work, a good reading of that play in order to reset for the faceoff, and now the Gauchos are only down one man.
Chapman 1 for 4 on the power play. Vioranta screams a shot.
And he'll shoot from anywhere, too.
High and tight. Kring holds it for Daly. Daly ladling the puck back for Kring. Daly once more. Switches for Miller at the near point. Kring. Daly. Gauchos keeping Chapman to the outside here.
Watch for that cross-box pass, though.
Miller tried to get it to Vioranta, intercepted, and cleared the length of the sheet. Great penalty killing by Kyle Mooney. Baroni in hot on the forecheck, forcing the play around, and Vioranta turns it over to Kyle. Minute to go in the Chapman power play. Kyle tried to wheel. Miller does a nice job separating him from the puck. Ahead for Vioranta. Building speed through the neutral zone. Wristed and scores!
And you cannot give Heikki Vioranta that kind of time and speed. The Gauchos respecting him a little bit too much as he went wheeling through that neutral zone. So much power on that shot. He can just rip it by any goaltender, and the Gauchos guilty of giving him too much time and space.
Second power play goal of the game for Vioranta. It's a hat trick for him tonight. Vioranta had 4 hat tricks last season against UC Davis, against Cal State Fullerton, against Ventura College, and against ice hockey at UCSB. He has been a Gaucho killer. That's now 12 goals in 4 games played against the Gauchos for Vioranta.
So he's averaging a hat trick a game.
Gauchos looking for a response. Piagai for Damgard. Gomez stands it up. Zapata looking for help. Puck shoveled free. Piagai will switch for Van Duzer. Van Duzer chips for the carry, loses an edge. Gomez saucered it over Goldser's stick. And the Panthers just play it back for Piagai. Midway mark of the third period, 4-4. Goldser will be retrieved by Kring for Zapata. Zapata ahead for Vioranta. Vioranta on the carry. Vioranta shoots wide. Off the near boards and just skied back into the Chapman end. Kring made an attempt to make a play on it, so icing wave. Poliuso in on him. Chapman 2 for 5 on the power play today as Kring fights off the Hyman stick check. His shot scores! And Tyler Kring has given Chapman their first lead of the game on his second goal of the season.
And it's an awkward shot from a bad angle that just seems to hit Penn in the stick and just kind of rolls over and somehow finds its way through and trickles over the line. And now it's gut check time for the Gauchos after that mistake of giving Vioranta a little bit too much space. They now have to fight back, and now they're the ones chasing the game here as we start to approach the late stages against what's a very good defensive team in the Chapman Panthers.
Kring put up 9 points in his 3 games against UCSB last season, 2 goals and 7 helpers. He's had himself quite a night here. The shot, save made by Norick as Okpish deflected it in front, and on the rebound, Norick snatches it at the near post with a glove.
And Okpish is smiling in disbelief, gives a little bit of just a well done stick tap to the pads of Norick, going, how did he manage to keep that one out?
Defensive zone draw won by the Panthers, but a nice hold at the line by Vieira for Spears. Miscommunication with Okpish. He has to take it back out center. Under 9 to go here, period 3. Chapman has turned this game on its head with goals 57 seconds apart. Kring on the power, Vieira on the power play, and Kring unassisted. Miller without a stick, soccering it behind his net. Gives it up for Daly, who couldn't connect with Kumaro. Spears tried to sell a high stick from Daly. No call forthcoming. And Spears is going to get one on the retaliation. Well, perhaps it's something else off the play. The official is pointing at Gaucho.
2 minutes for roughing, and I believe it's going to be both number 4s going here. Kumaro is definitely headed into the penalty box, but the question is he going to be the only one headed into the penalty box? And I think he is.
Well, it was the Gauchos with the touch, which is why I made the assumption that they were going to be taking the penalty on the play.
And Kumaro then closes the penalty box door. I have no idea what's going on here. And Spears is headed for the penalty box now. And so the Gauchos will be going shorthanded. It's an undisciplined penalty from Spears. And I wish I could say it was the first one this season, but we have seen that happen on multiple occasions, and now the Gauchos really need to come up with a big kill here. They are running out of racetrack. 8:23 left, and assuming no goals are scored on this one, they're going to be down to about 6.5 minutes to chase down a 1-goal deficit.
2 for 5 on the power play, Chapman. But off the draw, head of speed for Jaguar Lawrence. Lawrence takes a heavy hit from Easton Miller, shrugs it off, and continues to chase after Tyler Kring. Kring cranks a slapper that Penn makes the save on. Vieira scoops the rebound around the net and will send it to the line and out. Vieira, the poke re-entry. Vieira controls back and will be slapped out the entire length of the sheet. Miller, content to wait behind his net with the forecheck of Kevin Mooney. Kyle lurking at the blue line as well. Finds Kring, who will flip it forward for Barrett. Barrett, return feed. Kring shot it high and wide. This one will get all the way out to neutral ice. Easton Miller retrieves with 50 seconds to go on the Chapman power play. Miller can't get through the Mooney brothers, and the slap clear goes off of Zapata to Kring. Kring couldn't clear it past Kevin, but Barrett able to help him get it forward for Zapata. Zapata curls around the net. Headed into the boards by Blount. Miller drops back Vieira. Vieira pass wide of Zapata. Kring working on his backhand. Back to the point. 10 seconds on the power play. Tries a backdoor feed for Vieira. Stick handle, shoots, and he scores!
That's all it takes is just a little glimmer of daylight for a player of his talent and caliber to just make the Gauchos penalty kill look silly on this play. He was covered by one man, but all he needed to do was get his stick free, and it was just a beautiful little chip shot, putting it right up over the glove hand of Nora Penn. 6:29 now remaining, and the Gauchos trailing by 2. and it looks as though Chapman, the rivalry is definitely continuing here between the two of them. The Gauchos dominating this game for large stretches, now looking like they may come up on the short end of this one unless they can pull one together quickly.
Well, you can't win in this series during the regular season unless you score 7.
This is true.
Goleta tries to play it to the front of the net. Damgard wedged off it by Daly. Poliuso. 6:10 to go here in the third period. Is Pregame from the line. His slapper off a skate. And Kummerl will backhand it forward for Daly. Daly. Staple gun to the boards. 3 white shirts there to help out. Continue to dig for it. Chapman's A-OK with getting into these scrums and killing as much time as possible. Gomez, shot. Save made by Penn. Down played up the far boards by Damgard, but not out. Daly holds in, and his shot stubbed behind the net for Lawrence. UCSB looking for the breakout. Saucer area feed to the near boards. Goldser gave up for Lawrence. Driving to the front of that. Shot, save made! Couldn't get there for the rebound. Carried in and dropped off. Shot and a save made by Norick as Poliuso introduced to the inside of the glove palm of Kring as he went to stand on the doorstep of Norick after his soft little wrister was held.
And that's never a good smelling introduction. Those gloves are quite possibly the most odorous piece of equipment a hockey player wears.
Spears out there with the Moonies. Kyle works it behind the net for Kevin. Back to the line, Vieira. Spears goes behind the net. Kyle for Kevin, back for Kyle. Under 5 to go in the third. Battle for the puck in the far corner. Kevin works it free for Kyle in front. Shot, save made, rebound, denied again by the pad of Norick. What a stop. Kyle with it high slot. Can't get it through 3 maroon shirts. But Kevin has it. Pass back door through the feet of Kyle. Vieira at the line, plays for Kyle. Takes a heavy hit from Vioranta. Spins it around for Kevin. Miller takes it away from him, plays to the line, and gets it out of the zone. Vieira back to retrieve. Kyle Mooney dummied the puck forwards. Here's Spears, draws past Kring. Spears shoots high and wide.
I think the goaltender got just a piece of that one.
Spears tried to send it back in front. Kring deflected it. Kyle Mooney upset with being contacted off the play as the puck shot in for an icing. 3:59 to go in the third period, and Kyle is wondering what has to happen for the Gauchos to draw a power play here.
Well, I think they do have a case. I think one did get missed when Lawrence came cutting across the slot there. I think he got a stick to the midsection at the end of it, which is why he was a little bit slow in getting up.
Draw one, shot sent wide by Ockpish. Lawrence holds the line. Colsio for Ockpish. Backhand shot over top the net by Barone. Puck loose, will be picked up by Gomez. Barrett can't get it through Ockpish. Barone back to the line. Lawrence, slapper through traffic off the stick of Kring to the far corner. Colsio there to pick it up. Gomez intercepts behind the net. Hands off for Vioranta, who sends it to the line where it's held in by Lawrence. Slap pass intercepted by Kring. He'll bounce it in wide of Penn, and this goes for an icing, and the Chapman bench wondering why is that an icing, because as it kicked off the end boards, it seemed like it almost went in on Penn.
And I'm not sure necessarily how this one is called in instances where it is the delayed hybrid icing rules that the NHL uses, so I'm not really sure. I think Chapman may have a point with this one, but at the same time, also kind of wondering what Kring was thinking of firing that one in just wide of Penn from about 150 feet away.
Off the draw, Gauchos control. Poliuso behind the net. Backhand try. Thrown in front of the net. Vejaranta lifts the cage off the face of Justin Goldser as Norick held the far post, not allowing the jam in.
Getting a little bit testy here in the final moments, as you would expect between these two teams. A lot of bad blood, at least on the side of the guys in blue and white. Remember, they have not beaten the Chapman Panthers in the Ice in Paradise era. All 3 losses I would put down in the heartbreaker category.
Gauchos 304. I'm coming up on the opposite end of the result here, but off the draw, the shot from the line, off the stick, and Kummerow able to get the clear. Aired back in, Miller gets it out. Ahead for Daly. Daly curls back. Daly dangling, drops back for Miller. Headhunter shot over top of the net. Poliuso scoops it forward, but Chandler intercepts for Miller. He'll backhand it in. 2:30 to go here in period number 3. Area pass, chipped forward, gets through Chandler, rolls in on Norick, and he'll just freeze it.
Gauchos immediately coming back with the high skill line over the boards. Cooper Spears and the Mooney brothers, the line that has arguably been the most dangerous and the most effective here on the evening in terms of possession and puck control, now being relied upon to maybe come up with that big one right here for the Gauchos, because they need it and they need it quickly.
Draw goes in on Norick. Kyle Mooney tried to spear the puck free, and he takes a heavy hit from Jonathan Chandler after the whistle.
And I'm willing to bet there's going to be some penalty calls here.
Wouldn't surprise me if there are matching minors here for Mooney for trying to stab that puck free, for Chandler
I
for
think
going
Chandler's just been booted.
after the whistle.
Nope, never mind. He was headed towards the door and then turned. So interesting officiating if there's no calls on this one, but I agree with you. I think it would have to be either both of them or neither of them, and I think the referee's going to go with neither of them in this case.
Kyle on the draw, tries to play it through Daly. When it comes to the near side boards on the second effort, Daly able to get it out. Kummerow carries over the blue line. Puck behind the net. UCSB looks to break out. 2 minutes to go in the third. Kummerow had it chopped from him, but Chandler, area pass along the near side boards. Kyle, the carry-in, takes the hit from behind in the feet of Chandler. Miller able to pick it up and play it off the glass and in. Penn is off for the extra attacker for the Gauchos. 6-on-5 hockey here. Okpish on the chip in. Knocks the puck free from Miller. Mooney's back pass. Nobody home. Piagai retrieves. Top line back out for Chapman now as Vejaranta looking for the empty nets. Rolls it wide. On his horse, Vieira able to draw the icing.
And we're going to get a timeout here from UCSB, needing 2 goals in a minute and a quarter to tie this game back up and send it to overtime.
75 seconds, if you will. 1:15.
That's the way I think most people will know.
So the Gauchos have taken the last 3 penalties in the game, and as a result, Chapman has scored on 2 of those 3 penalties here in this third period.
And it reminds me an awful lot of the first game we broadcasted here this season, where penalties and poor discipline in the third period against Santa Rosa almost cost them. Fortunately, it was a Cooper Spears heroic goal with just mere moments to go that gave the Gauchos the win in that one, but they were tied at that point. They're not at this point.
And mind you, in that game, there was a 6-2 lead that the Gauchos let slip all the way to equal. In this case, they took the 4-3 lead on the goal by Goldser, 3:01 into the third. But since then, it's been, as it often seems to be with these Chapman Panthers, the Heikki Vejaranta show.
Gauchos need to find a way to slow him down. We made it a key to our game, and it's something they really haven't been able to do here, notching 3 goals so far.
Off the draw, Kring clears but can't get it past Kevin. Backhand for Piagai. His shot off of Vieira's stick, and Kring will get the clear. Vieira back to pick it up in his own end with a minute to go. Switch pass for Kyle. It hit a stick and fluttered. Spears with the puck behind the net. Backhand for Kyle. Throws in front, knock, shot, save made by Norick. Puck knocked free in front. Whole scrum of bodies. Miller comes free with it. Miller past the stick check of Piagai. Gains the red line. 3-on-1, shoots it wide. Zapata there to pick up the trash and deposit it in the back of the net for the empty netter. And there's number 7 with 33.6 to go in the third.
And the Chapman jinx for ice hockey at UCSB is unfortunately going to continue here this evening. Again, opportunity number 4 in the Ice in Paradise era goes begging. And I think this is easily the Gauchos have ever played against the Chapman Panthers, but unfortunately not able to contain the big man. And that's going to cost him in this one, as Vieira's 3 goals. Easily the difference maker.
Gauchos win the draw and come in offside. There's 22.6 remaining here from Ice in Paradise. Mind you, the Gauchos beginning a stretch of home action here at their home rink as the slap shot from the far point curls to the near corner. Behind the net, Gomez uses the glass to get it out of the zone. Lawrence, long feed intercepted by Gomez, and that'll do it. The Chapman University Panthers have defeated ice hockey at UCSB by a 7-4 final. The Gauchos, it is a 4-game losing streak now as they fall to Chapman University for the 4th time in 4 meetings in the Ice in Paradise era. 4th consecutive defeat to Chapman. 4 goals by Heki Vieira. Only 4 goals past David Norick, who had a tremendous evening after that first period of play where the Gauchos were able to get 3 past him. Several spectacular saves for the unfortunate number tonight for ice hockey at UCSB.
And again, the Gauchos, I think, have a lot to be proud of in this game, but they do also have things to work on, notably focusing on shutting down the big man wearing number 17, arguably, and I don't even think without question, the best player on the ice for both sides here this evening. Spoiler alert, he's going to be the number 1 star of the game when we go through that here in a few minutes as well. I do want to give a quick update. Actually, I've received word from the condition of Connor Pierce. He has been taken to the hospital here in Goleta. He says he's banged up and has a pretty sore neck and is headed for a CT scan, but so far that's the only news we have on him. So I'd say that actually, considering the way that he went into the boards, that's actually fairly good news, really. And we really don't like hearing about anything like this happening to either side. So we offer Connor and his family and his friends and all of his teammates here with Chapman as well our best wishes. We don't want to see anything like that happen as well. And we're really happy to hear that. So far, at least, there's good news.
Best wishes and all the best for a speedy recovery to Connor Pierce, defenseman, who left the game injured after going into the end boards heavy, head first in the second period with around 10 minutes to play. Kyle, after that point in the game, ice hockey at UCSB outscored by Chapman by a 4-1 margin. We speculated at the time that this may be a rallying point for the Panthers, and I think you could very easily make that argument. Sure, Vieira continues to go off as he's wont to do, but at the same time, Tyler Kring, who I will also argue deserves to be in the 3-star discussion, probably I would slot as the 2nd star with a goal, 3 assists in the game. Really, it was his goal after the power play goal by Vieira where Chapman was able to get in front 5-4, and there was just that looming sense of, uh-oh, we've been like this before,
Here it comes
and we
again.
don't like this.
Here it comes again with Chapman. And you see it all the time. The Gauchos have come back from deficits. They've come back and overcome leads from their opponents, but Chapman is easily the best organized defensive team that they've played yet so far this season, with exception maybe being Cal. And even then, I would argue that was really just for the first game we played against them, not necessarily the second one quite so much, as the Gauchos were able to find a few cracks in that defense as well. So this is not a team that gives up leads very frequently. It's not easy to overcome deficits like that. So for UCSB, a lot to work on here before they go out and they face them again, I believe, in January later on this season.
Yes, the next time these two teams will be taking on each other will be Friday, January the 20th from KHS Ice Arena down in Anaheim, a 9:30 face-off. But the next game for your ice hockey at UCSB Gauchos will be back here at Ice in Paradise on Saturday, November the 5th, a 10 p.m. face-off against Santa Clara University. Hope you can join us for that. Kyle, I think to round out the 3 stars, as we've kind of gone in inverse order here.
I think we both know who we're going to say. It's going to go to David Norick, correct?
Well, you could go with David Norick.
I will go with David Norick.
Okay, you can go with David Norick. You can go with David Norick, and that's a certain deserving one because he really came up with the proverbial 10-bell saves, as you like to say. A good 5, 6, 8 of those in period 2, period 3 to keep Chapman in the game. But I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to give the 3rd star to Mitchell Poliuso. Poliuso continues to have such a great season for ice hockey at UCSB. He scores the first goal of the game for the Gauchos. He ends up having a hand in 3 of the 4 UCSB goals on the evening. Mitchell Poliuso, who expands on his team point lead, now up to 11 with 4 goals and 7 assists. He is my 3rd star selection, as that'll round it out. 3 stars of the game brought to you by Center Ice Santa Barbara, brand new hockey and figure skating retail showroom located in Goleta at 7127 Hollister Avenue in Suite 8. Call them at 805-770 or 7970. CenterIceSB.com is the website for Center Ice Santa Barbara. Your 3 stars. 3rd star, Mitchell Poliuso / David Norick. 2nd star, Tyler Kring. 1st star, Heki Ve Haranta for Chapman. And Kyle, that's just about going to do it for us as the ZAM is out to resurface the ice here for the spooky Halloween skate at this gorgeous facility. Any final thoughts before we hit the road?
Well, the Gauchos really need to go in there, and when it comes to the practices this week, they need to realize that the losing streak is now at 4 games. I don't think anyone's going to need to remind them of that necessarily, but they really need to turn around and right the ship quickly here in order to get a grasp on this season. They have the talent. They certainly have the ability to play and win a lot of these games. They just aren't coming up with it, and that's something that you really only can work out with a lot of hard work and a lot of a good team mentality that can be established through bonding with your boys and getting some good practice in.
Thank you again to Matrix Nightclub of Santa Barbara for sponsoring today's Rally Towel giveaway. Matrix Nightclub is located at 409 State Street downtown and on the web at www.m8rxsb.com. And fans, we remind you can keep up with the latest in ice hockey at UCSB. Information on your home for the Gauchos on the ice on the web at www.ucsbicehockey.com. And be sure to get social with your Gauchos by liking facebook.com/icehockeyusb, following on Twitter, UCSB Ice Hockey, on Instagram, UCSB Ice Hockey, as well as on MixLR, our audio-only broadcasts for away games as well as home. Unfortunately, unable to get that working today, but that is at mixlr.com/icehockeyucsb. And if you want to make a donation, perhaps a gift or a contribution to help support the young men and women student-athletes of ice hockey at UCSB, get in contact with staff advisor Susan Goodale at susan.goodale@ucsb.edu or call her at 805-893-3530, 893-3530. So until we're next on the air with you on Saturday, the 5th of November, 10 p.m. start when your Gauchos take on Santa Clara University. For my color commentator, Kyle Nicolas, for our technical director, Alina Portillo, and for our cameraman, Jesse Gutierrez, my name is Eric Evelhoch. It's been a pleasure to bring you this presentation of ice hockey at UCSB Gauchos action. The losing streak is up to 4 as the Gauchos fall for the 4th time in the Ice in Paradise era to the Chapman University Panthers. Heikki Veeranta, with 4 goals in the game, leads all scorers as Chapman claims the 7-4 victory. The Gauchos once again bedeviled by the Ghouls from Orange County. Until the Gauchos take on Santa Clara on Saturday, November the 5th, we thank you for tuning in. Have a happy Halloween and a splendid Saturday evening. Good night from Goleta.